Listen, I don't know about you, but I started a business so I could do this. Travel, be with friends, be with family, create memories. I didn't do it to sit at the computer all day. I didn't do it so that I could just be in countless emails and Zoom meetings. I did it to create opportunities for myself and opportunities for others. So listen, if that's something that interests you, enjoying time with your friends, being out and about, definitely drop by Erica Williams' Classy Climb blog. Check out the YouTube channel. We've got over 2,000 videos of free information that's actually changed people's lives. People actually post their new jobs, their new careers, their new businesses all the time over at the channel. What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Erica from the Classy Climb blog. Make sure you drop your city and state in the chat and let me know if you can hear me, see me. Is everything good? Is the audio working? I hope it is. All right, so let's get into it. Today is going to be a big show. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not going to be a short show. I have a lot of clips to show you guys, but really impactful clips. Again, as we kick the show off, free course. Again, I'm teaching you affiliate marketing. I don't know if you can tell. I don't know if you can feel it. I dabbled in it last year, and I'm really back at the pivot. I'm getting ready to move to my new house. I'm getting ready to do some new projects. And so just prepare yourself. All right. That's the best way I can say it. The top 40 ebook part 2. Check that link out in the 5-day challenge. Again, if you want to learn from a multimillionaire who is moving and grooving, there you go. There you go. Right. The pivot is real. And if you're paying attention, you figured it out. Some of you did, some of you did not. Okay. What is the title of this video? The biggest wealth transfer wars, the experience economy, millennial versus broke millennial wars, and priced out. We've been talking for this past year and many years about the financial impact of data, right? While everybody's getting caught up on balloon popping and red balloon, this and that, I've constantly tried to keep y'all focused. Like, this is the data. This is the 65 million below here who are struggling. And these are the 30 million and up that are doing well. And you have a choice at this point, especially since Donald Trump came in, to make a decision today. Now, every day there's going to be people who are just diving into the weeds. And there's two groups happening. There's a group who are just like, we're going to lower the living. I'm going to go live overseas. I'm going to go hide out in Panama. I'm going to go hide in Colombia. I'm going to go hide overseas for 6 months to 2 years. And majority of those people figure out, I need to come back and make more money. That's mostly what they figure out, right? I can show you countless videos of that. But it gives them a break for 2 years. And that's great. There's another group of people out here who are like, this is the new standard. For my kids and my kids' kids, this is the new standard. Like I can't wait on grandma to pass away. I can't wait on grandpa to pass away. Like, to get all this income, I have to make something for myself right now. And that's what's really happening, and people aren't ready. So I have a series of wonderful clips for you guys. I don't have a team. I did this myself in under 4 hours. So, bear with me. But yeah, this year coming up, massive pivot, some changes to the crew. You know what's about to happen. So somebody I like who is the power of the pivot is Grant Cardone. I'm just going to play. I'm going to play the thing I wanted to play first and call it a day. Let me play this part first. Okay. All right. Y'all ready? Here we go. And this is going to be setting the tone for the whole video. So hopefully you guys are ready for it.
8 million people do. How do we do it? We do not know.
Yeah.
But it is also what
but you live in Manhattan. This must have like hit home for you.
It did, because when you go downtown and you see all these 20, 30 somethings in cafes in the middle of a workday,
living in the West Village,
you're like, how are they doing this?
Well, that's no mystery.
And that you're right, that hasn't happened. But because real estate everywhere has gotten so expensive, but particularly in New York, where a studio apartment's $1.5 million.
Brooklyn's $1 million.
Yeah,
you can't buy anything in Brooklyn
absolutely.
for $1 million.
So I think it grates
Fair
people
use.
Who are struggling to rent here. Now, 2/3 of apartments in Manhattan are rents, not buying, and very few first-time buyers are buyers in Manhattan. Most of them are second, third-time buyers moving up.
If you walk into Via Carota and look around on a Tuesday, everyone in there looks like an Abercrombie model.
Yeah,
but those are the rich. Those are the children.
Some of
the wealthiest people around the country.
So let's widen the lens and talk about the great wealth transfer, because this is the most important thing that I've been covering once we started Inside Wealth, and it will be, I think, the main issue. So over the next, let's say 30 years, around 100 to 130 trillion dollars will be passed down from baby boomers to the kids. So where will that go? The first transfers, what we're seeing now, and by the way, I was extremely skeptical of all these numbers for years because I'm like, baby boomers are the ultimate hedonists. They're gonna burn the shit out of their fortune and like party up in Ibiza and everywhere else.
It's too much money to spend. They can't spend it all
now.
And they're not gonna leave anything because they want to enjoy it. So, but what private bankers are seeing is that it is happening. They're already seeing it happening. So over 100 trillion. So the first will be the spouses. So the wives will get it because rich guys marry younger women.
Rich guys marry younger women. When I keep telling y'all, you're going to see a sea of women who are all of a sudden billionaires, multimillionaires, investing. There are people actively hunting for those people. Let me continue.
Women live longer than men anyway. And so the spouses are going to get it first. The second group that's going to get it is Gen X. So if you're a wealth management firm, the people you want to target right now
That's
is
who
Gen
should
X.
get it.
Gen X, absolutely.
Sorry.
Gen X is going to...
We're the last generation that knows what to do with money. These people have no taste. Otherwise, it's incredible.
They're going to get $39 trillion. Gen X is going to get $39 trillion.
You feel better now? You're going to get 39 trillion.
Fine.
Millennials are going to get...
Reality still bites.
Then slacker. Then millennials are going to get 40. Millennials will be the richest generation when it comes to these great wealth transfers. Now, here's the other thing about millennials. This goes back to this whole issue of rich kids.
Yeah, but when we're 60.
You could wait.
30 years. Yeah, it'll take a while.
Pause it there. I know y'all saw my video. The greatest wealth transfer disappointment. If you're Black, if you're a person whose parents doesn't own any houses, any real estate, anything, this will be not for you. I'm just going to go there. You will not feel this. Let me be very clear. Right now, baby boomers are 60 to 79 years old. Okay. So you got people who are going to have to do what? There's going to be one more last great boom, and it's going to be in elder living, assisted living. So to some degree, some of these parents are going to run through this money in their passing away years. I was very grateful that my grandpa was 93, still lived on his own, had people come in and check on him, drove a car. It wasn't until he fell at his birthday and had a stroke that all of a sudden we're all freaking out, right? But he lived to 93 years old, had rentals, had investments. I mean, I don't think y'all understand, like, people are going to live very much longer because they're like the last generation that eats well, okay? And again, my grandpa was not a boomer. He was a, what do you call it, the greatest generation? I think he was. No. Silent generation. He was silent generation. Okay. Right now, sorry, I got to hold myself. Right now, 43 to 59 years old is Gen X. If you're 43 to 59 watching this show right now, you are Gen X. Gen X, all the surveys on Gen X, they're unhappy, they're frustrated. They have kids who are teenagers and they have older parents. So they're squished in between a lot of life. And so some of the videos I'm going to show y'all today are from mostly Gen X, but there is a, 29 to 41 or 42, I think it's 42, is millennials, right? And there is a upper echelon 10% of millennials who are rocking it, right? And that's just is what it is. So the 39 trillion going to Gen X, they're already stressed out. They're stressed, right? They're stressed. Oh man, awesome. Thank you so much. Man, you guys, I love it. Thank you so much. Giving out these, he's gifted 5 Classic Line memberships. That's awesome. 43 trillion to the millennials. So let me finish this clip and then I'm going to go into a series of millennial clips because y'all need to totally understand this for this to make sense. And that's what today's show is about.
I mean,
the millennials.
So the average billionaire is 69 years old. Like,
nice.
This money is going to start flowing pretty quickly. But here's the thing. If you look at millennials as a whole, they are not as well off as baby boomers were at the same age of 35, right? I think it's like 30% less than
because of cost of living.
Well, even if you adjust everything, they just, salaries, et cetera, cost of living is exactly. But if you take the top 10% of millennials compared to the top 10% of baby boomers,
the super millennials,
the super millennials. Now, not everyone you see who looks like Abercrombie and Fitch models is a rich kid. They've got good jobs on Wall Street. They're analysts. They've got good jobs in media. They've good jobs at a tech startup or a tech company. So there is this section of millennials and Gen Z that has very high paying jobs. So not everyone that we see that's under 30 or under 40
not idle.
is
not all idle.
They've got very highly skilled jobs that pay a lot of money. So that's number one. But there is this inequality now within millennials that the wealth gap within millennials between the top and the bottom is the widest of any generation.
Oh, that's interesting.
So one of the reasons I think millennials have a jaundiced view of wealth and resent it is because they see more inherited wealth in their generation than we saw when we were growing up. So when we were growing up,
that's true.
you had like the rarefied Astors and Hearsts and like Vanderbilts, but there weren't that many as a proportion of the overall millionaire, billionaire population. Inherited wealth was not a factor after the late 1980s, early 90s. It was almost all 85% of millionaires were self-made after the 1990s. Now, what I think is going to start happening, and what's already happening, is millennials see more of their own peers inheriting wealth and getting wealth. So that's going to change your entire view of the wealthy. Because if it's the Lucky Sperm Club versus somebody who worked their ass off for 50 years, of course you're going to hate rich people.
Does this partly explain Gen Z's unexpected move toward Trump in this last election? Are enough of them? Are there enough Gen Z people who are either currently wealthy or aspirationally wealthy?
They are northeastern, right underneath New York, white men. Even if they say they're in between, they're a libertarian, they're really a liberal. They're really a far progressive person. They cannot understand. They cannot grasp it. Even it's been months now since November. They cannot grasp that all these people voted for Trump. This is the one thing that cracks me up about this show, and this is why I watch stuff from different segments of society. People literally, I love that I travel and I interact and I do business because I saw it coming. I'm like, it's too far. The pendulum, when it swings too far, no one has time for that. You can't explain why I'm paying all these taxes. You can't explain the lockdown, even though that started under Trump. You can't explain, why I'm forced to do all this stuff. You can't explain this stuff that's really anti-American, anti-family, anti-married couples, anti-straight people, anti-money, anti-common sense, anti-church. And the whole society is like, no, that's enough. That's enough. Stop. It's enough. Cut it out. They cannot see that because one, his coworker beside him is younger than him, 8 years younger than him or whatever, or more than 8 years, is a super millennial. I'm a super millennial, right? Being in Austin, I'm surrounded by super millennials. One of my first jobs coming here to Austin offered me $80,000 a year. That was my first job back after owning a coffee shop. I was like, whoa, everybody's getting paid like this. The average person, my roommates I lived with, a finance analyst who made $155,000. The girl who was a type of engineer, she wasn't like she did water waste treatment at Samsung. She made $190,000 a year. And it was no thing for them to go on weekends to Spain. They're going to take a week here. They're going to go across seas. It wasn't a thing. It wasn't a thing to take 6 months off. So there is a segment of society that is living this amazing life and they're out of touch with reality. That's my one complaint. When these guys do a segment on millennials and investing, they're just absolutely dumbfounded that people voted for Trump, overwhelmingly happy with it, and are like, all right, what's next? Right? Like, woo, got that out of there. This is my one hiccup with the show. And I know people are like, oh, don't talk about politics, Erica, just stay focused on money. But this is, it feeds into that. These are the same type of New York people like, oh, New York's the best place ever. And if they don't realize, since the 1990s, people have been flooding out of that place like they flood out of LA. Yeah, I'm going to take my kid over here to Texas and start over. I'm going to take my kid to Florida and start over. I'm going to take my kid to Georgia and start over. Right? Even when they talk about Brooklyn in this show, they're like, oh, everybody knows that story. No, they don't. Everybody who's not from New York doesn't realize that the mass exodus of Black people in the service class in New York had to leave. There was nowhere for them to live. It was a crack era. It was dangerous. It was violent. And that's why when I watch stuff, I watch it with a grain of salt. But this is also why I put a minority perspective on this stuff, because if you let these guys tell your story, oh, everybody knows the Brooklyn story. We don't. We weren't in Brooklyn. We don't know. And the Brooklyn people that come down from New York and live in Atlanta are still crying to this day. Half of them are still not invested in Atlanta. They haven't bought homes. They haven't bought nothing in the South. They just come down and complain about how everything's not in New York, but they know they cannot live there. Same with Chicago Black people. You cannot afford Chicago and you cannot afford New York. So you're here, make the best of you being down South and hush your mouth. See that part? Nobody likes that. Nobody likes when I do that. Let me finish this part and then we get out of here.
That they said, this Kamala message doesn't resonate with me at all.
I think what we feel like as a culture, I think there's less of an idea that the way to reduce inequality is to make the rich poor. I think everyone agrees that what we really need to do is help those at the bottom. So I think the idea of like,
that sounds inflationary.
Get the rich guy.
Well, if there's nobody to do the jobs that no one wants, if everyone's rich, it doesn't work.
The idea of like, get the rich guy. Oh, and also there's some, I think there was a perceived risk that everyone's taxes would go up under her. So I think on the economic, aside from inflation, I think was the main thing that drove people. But I think that's.
Let's do these charts.
Yeah.
Just getting back to the original part of the article, which is like, how are these people affording these $5,500
credit cards
rents? So we made some charts on New York City housing, both for the sales price as well as rentals. And this.
Okay, I'm going to leave it here. But again, Bronx, dark blue, Brooklyn, that orange. Brooklyn is through the freaking roof, right? As far as the rents in Brooklyn and the sale cost of stuff in Brooklyn. So again, they're like, oh, everybody knows that story. No, they don't. And I'm going to get off here from this. But I want you to understand, they still cannot fathom. They still just cannot fathom. People didn't want to pay more taxes. People were fed up. They cannot fathom it. It doesn't calculate for them. And this is what I tell when people get so out of touch with reality, they can't fathom some stuff. It just doesn't click for them. You know what I mean? And I want you to understand, like, the next set of clips I'm going to show you reinforce what I'm talking about. But they can't fathom it. They can't wrap their head around these people wanting something different. Like, this ain't working. We got to do something different. You know, eggs are through the roof. Houses. Again, I keep telling you, I'm here in Austin, Texas. Houses were $245 when I was trying to close on a house in February 2020. By November 2020, houses were $496,000 starter homes. And we have people who are like, I'm not doing it. I'm leaving. This caused the boom in San Antonio. I know y'all don't want to hear that because everybody thinks San Antonio is something to look at. No, it's not. It just isn't. A lot of people move to San Antonio because they're like, I can still get a $200,000 house. I'm moving to Killeen because I get you. There's not a lot of jobs there that you'd want, but they're going there because majority of people, and they'll say it in this video and another clip I'm going to show you, the majority of their well-being and wealth is in their house and their job. This is why when you meet people who are just renters their whole life, they're like, why are y'all going on about houses? That's responsibility. You have two choices. You could go lower living or you can go responsibility. And that's what's happening, right? That's really what's happening right now. Really hard. And again, you know, the answer is simple, but we're going to keep hitting it on the show. Solution is starting a business, investing money and buying assets. You'll hear all this stuff. You know, no, Kevin, if you actually listen to them, they are what we would call liberal, Kevin. Like when I came to Texas, I thought I was conservative. And then I meet Texans who are even to the left of that. So when you meet people from the Northeast who are like, oh, I could go either way. I could vote for either person. No, they can't. They 9 times out of 10 vote Democrat, right? New York hasn't had Republican certain people in certain respects, except for Upper New York forever. For all definitions, if you move them around any part of this United States, they're liberal, right? They're thinking, hey, you know, even when he says everybody can't be rich, they do a segment on here where they talk about how in West Palm Beach, Florida, and Miami, that house cleaners are making $130,000 a year to $200,000 a year, and people are like, why? Why are they making so much money? And I'm like, because there's so many houses to clean. It's such a competitive market. That's why when we hear a lot of people, the reason the cleaning company, I don't want to say their name, I don't want to mess them up in this, but AJ Simmons teaches cleaning, the Harmonies teach cleaning. The reason why they're talking about it is because they're shocked. They think a cleaner can make $50,000 a year and live well in America. No, you're going to have cleaners making $180,000 a year. You're going to have people who own cleaning companies make a ton of money a year, right? Part of the reason I started the cleaning company here is because there were so many contracts and government contracts on cleaning out these new construction homes and also doing these big University of Texas buildings and doing these government buildings and Oracle and Apple and these data centers. Like, these places have to be cleaned, right? So again, making more money is going to require skill, right? So when I name things like mobile notary, Google Ads, marketing, field adjuster, people are like, oh, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, I know you don't. This isn't like a want. This is a versus economic need, right? So, okay, let me go into this, and I'm going to go with, I'm going to show some super millennials, and then I'm going to go average men and women so that it's across the board. You kind of see what I'm talking about. I'm going to give you my first super millennial, and it's only going to be like a hot second of him talking because he uses a lot of music. And make sure you hit the like button. You know, likes are free. So here we go. Here we go.
Nightmare. It was a nightmare of a day and a week and a month. We have the secret project coming up, which is going to be maybe revealed at the end of this video, but this room that we're in, can you show them the room, is very tiny. We're running an 8-figure business out of this room right now. We have Shelby that comes later this week, and we're going to help her launch her program, which is going to be to 30, 40,000 girls, which is going to be insane. My 3-day challenge is in a couple days. We have to finish all the decks on that, make sure the back end's set up, the registration pages, the VSLs, the funnels, make sure the sales team is dialed in. I've got a nice little dinner with a lady tonight. We'll see how that goes.
Who?
Huh?
Who?
I ain't telling you nothing.
I'm so full of shit.
I swear, I promise. It's like at 4 o'clock though, you know, like, you know, on the beach or something. I ain't telling you anything more than that. We need to move this whole room around this week, I think. Don't you?
Probably today.
How?
We need help.
We need my father to come, and I need to eat this damn ball.
All right.
Beginning
He
stage,
plays a
and
ton
you
of
need to
music.
start
Hold on.
nurturing, if you don't have this already, is relationships.
I'm gonna stop there. You can go check out Mr. 4 to 8 if you want to. Again, there's a lot of young people, if they get really good at building up a drop shipping store, they get good at building and marketing, Alex Becker, right? They'll make millions, and people are kind of like, how are they making this money? And they just sat and played on these computers, and they just went, you know what I'm saying? They've just kind of honed in. They're super millennials. Now, here's another group of super millennials, and everybody in this group, they're humble because they tap into, they're humble mostly because they, I want to say something else, but I'm gonna stop. They're super because they're workhorses. I'll just say that they're workhorses, and they realize now that they're workhorses. Like they just literally work, and it's starting to, it's a self-identity thing, right? It's a self-identity thing. So this is Christian Guzman. Again, dude got like $11 million loan. He's got out this lawsuit with the people who co-own Prime and Alana, right? And they're gonna help him rebuild his CP3 or whatever sports drink. And a lot of them have been working so hard that Christian Guzman started taking steroids. He started losing his hair. He started looking terrible. And you're like, how old is this guy? And he was only turning 31. And he took steroids and just wore himself out working so much that he actually didn't even have like any sperm count. Basically, he went to the doctor and they were like, bro, like you're like dying. Like, stop all this. Stop it all. And so then he started having to take, supplements and hormones and things for the hair. And he looks a lot better. I think he lost like 30 pounds. He looks a lot better. But you would hear that and you're like a 31-year-old guy with like no sperm count, with like bodies falling apart, feel like you're going to have a heart attack. Like, wait a minute, this guy's supposed to be a fitness guy. And that's why when I tell y'all see these people at these gyms working all these hours, some of that is not natural. It's not enhanced. It is very enhanced. But he at least shares a journey, because he's like, now I have to take this stuff. And he looks like he was looking 40 years old, y'all. Now he looks back like a 30-year-old Mexican. It was crazy. And so he looks better, sounds better. He's like, my sperm is swimming, and he laughed, but he's doing it because he wants to tell the guys, please don't abuse these steroids, because I only abused steroids for a year and look what it did to me. It like destroyed me. So I call them super millennials because everybody in this group, you know, they started the fitness YouTube thing and they knew immediately, and this is a big part of what I'm talking about, e-commerce. They had to have something to sell, t-shirts, sodas, drinks, something. Max Tuning did candy. He just like, out of everybody, he was the least, I'm just going to be honest with you, he was the lowest performer. He made a ton of money from YouTube and put it in stocks. So he was more focused on making the money. And then he was like, I have this idea. I'm going to do candy. Like all of them are making millions and not really tracking the money. And he's super focused and he did this candy. Now, I'm going to say when Hershey's offered them this money, he said life-changing money. Life-changing money is $30 million to $60 million. Okay. I'm thinking it's closer to 30 million just because how frugal he is as he talks. And I want you to understand that there's 240,000 people in the United States that are worth 30 million. And we'll have that clip later. That clip's coming up. That's why when people act like, oh, Erica, nobody's making any money, I'm like, no, they're making money. You just don't see them and you're not going to be around them. Okay. So this is them getting on a private jet. This is their first time ever getting on an absolute private jet, not like a JSX, not like a halfway, like a real one.
How are you? Good? Good to see you. You're good. It's the new one? It's the new one. Damn, bro. God, this video is like too jam. That's like too many.
That guy, Mr. Beast, lives here in Austin, Texas. Made money teaching guys how to look better, dress better, smell better. Has a supplement company. It's not huge. Has clothing stuff, not huge, but enough millions. And I'll show you guys business breakpoints on this show that it's like they went to Spain for a year because he's actually Spanish, like Spanish, a white Spaniard, however you want to say this mess, right? And so he was over there for a year, but then he realized, like, yeah, I just want to go back to the United States. Like the economy shifted, numbers in YouTube has shifted, my supplement stuff has shifted. Like I keep telling y'all, no matter how much money you make, people are like, I'm gonna go overseas and live. And then they get over there and they go, oh, wait a minute. The math, the people, the living, right? All this stuff. So they have a baby. They're taking a 2-month-old baby. They're taking a 2-month-old baby to this Vail, Colorado. It's the hilariousness.
Whoa.
Hey, girls.
You see.
Okay, so let me go some more. Let me go here. Right. So they're in Vail. Again, Vail's rich of the rich.
I have access to this one.
You made it to the Airbnb. This place is so sick. Check it out. Garage. Come in. Take a right. It's a lot of these houses here are like multiple, like honestly, like 4 levels almost. It looks like, but when you come down here, it takes you to the main living room. And look how grand this is.
Give him a tour.
Yeah, look at, wow. That's a crazy like island.
Yeah.
Crazy island.
And what's funny is even in their here.
Do you feel better?
Huh?
You feel like since you're jogging?
No, I'm
now
struggling.
it's not
Just like with 2 levels of stairs. You got a hot tub. Oh, wow. I just ran into this.
Okay.
What are we looking at?
Getting a little aerial shot of the city.
/ figuring out where we are.
Yes.
Okay, long story short, I'm not going to dwell on this video too long. Beautiful views. But they talk business the whole time. Like they're talking business. They're, they're like, I love this. We can't go back to commercial.
That's crazy.
And then they start laughing. They're like, none of us are rich. This is what rich people do, right? And I just love, if you watch this video, a lot of humbleness in this video, because they're workhorses. They've been working really hard and they're not at the point where they're spending the money. Like they're at a point where they got the cars, right? Let me say it carefully. They got the cars. They have these businesses that make a lot of money. But when you actually listen to him, Sean Coakley's the one that's the most honest, right? And he's been kind of hunched down, working hard. He keeps dating different strippers and internet girls off the internet, but that's another conversation. And he literally said, I made $50 million, but I only took home $5 million. And he's like, and then out of the 5 million, I had to pay 2 operators, which are these Arabian men, these Middle Eastern men in Houston, probably close to $1 million of it. Right. So he was like, the company made 50 million, but I only made 5. And really out of that 5, I had to pay $1 million off to these guys because he's out there tricking. He's Nigerian. They can't help themselves. And so he was out there tricking. And these two men are really the ones really running this company. So if you ever look at Sean Coakley stuff, like he's got a house and he's even now talking as like most of the internet people made a lot of money in 2020. He's like, I shouldn't have bought all these cars. I'm getting rid of these cars. I shouldn't have bought these cars. And he's sitting there with a Lamborghini Yaris. He's sitting there with all these very high things, right? And you can tell he's realizing like, oh my God, this is millions of dollars in cars and this big old house. Now, one of the things he did well, in my opinion, always in Houston, every couple of years, he buys a house. He'll buy a house in a new construction neighborhood for like $500,000. By the time they finish building, his house is worth $900,000. So he sold that first house, but he had to give the white girlfriend that he broke up with after being with her for like 4 years. He had to give her half. He had to give her like either $200,000 or half of that house because they bought it together and then they get married. Don't do that, y'all. And now he's on his second house. It was in a new construction neighborhood and he bought it at 600,000. And now again, it's the same thing. It's almost at $1 million because there's parts of Houston that are going astronomical, just like there's parts of Austin going astronomical. And you'll be like, why? Who's paying this? It's always somebody willing to pay. Don't get it twisted. Somebody's always willing to pay these astronomical prices. So I showed you that because I wanted to show you what super millennials look like. And when people say, oh, I don't understand, like that's a super millennial. Okay. I'm going to show you another super millennial. Do I have her? And one of the things I'll talk about later too in the video is they go over, in the 1990s, what made people get wealthy, in the early 2000s, really, after the dot-com bubble happened, people like Harvey Dent, Peter Schiff, they made a lot of money telling you, oh, the next crash is coming. The next crash is coming. Oh my God. Don't invest in stocks. Don't invest 401k. Oh, buddy. They made a lot of money doing that. We see that right now on YouTube. There's a ton of people talking about the real estate market's crashing. Don't you buy a house. Don't you do it. Oh Lord. I hate to tell y'all, I'm literally getting ready to walk into $1,700 mortgage because payment, and that's not with interest and housing and all those stuff, insurance and property taxes. Because the builders are like, hey, dude, 3%. I'll make your loan 3%. I'll pay all your closing costs. Just take it. Take it. I'll do whatever. That's literally happening right now. And it happens all the time. Happens all the time. Right? And I don't think y'all understand, like all these people complaining about housing. There's all these YouTubers nonstop like, oh, I just bought a $500,000 house. I just bought a $600,000 house around the corner, Erica. I just bought a $600,000 house over here. And it looks, Texas big. So you don't know how much these houses cost, but they look Texas big. And so I just want you to understand, like, the reason Peter Schiff even got extra legs is in 2008, he was the only one who was right. He came on, they mocked him, they made fun of him. And to this day, he lives almost another 20 years off being right. Now, also, Peter Schiff lives off the fact that his daddy stayed in prison till he died because he was like, we ain't paying no taxes. We ain't paying no taxes. We ain't doing it. We ain't doing it. His daddy was like, I'll die on that. I'll stand on business. I'll die on it. And he did. He died in jail. Died in federal prison, handcuffed to a bed, dying of cancer in his 80s. It was the craziest thing I've ever heard. But when you talk about people standing on business, he was standing on business. Because the government's like, look, we'll let you out. All you got to do is say you was wrong and you'll pay property taxes. And you'll pay taxes. And his daddy's like, nah, man, I'm going to stand on business. I'm going to die up in this mud. They were like, yo, listen, you dying of cancer. Don't you want to get out? Yeah, let me out. Nah, you got to say you was wrong. And he was like, Peter Schiff daddy was like, oh, I'll be chained to this bed. Go ahead. I'm going to die. It's crazy, but some people stand on business. They stand on business. So let me show you this other super millennial, and let me show you this. Okay, here we go. This is one again. Some of these people I've met, some of these people I have not met. Some of these people I've met their brother and sister. Max Tuning met his brother, did business with his brother, did a video, all that good stuff. So this is Juan Valdez. He's a part of that whole, when I show you Ravi Alabala, Jeff Seckinger, people I've done masterminds with, he's in that crew. A couple years ago, maybe like 4 years ago, he moved down to Miami. He got that hair transplant. He looking good. It's all good. I'm not knocking him. If you got that Hispanic, you got to get that line up. You got to pull that line forward. I understand. No hate. Now he's doing a very powerful thing. And again, he has a e-commerce business where they help you scale, right? His whole business is getting your Google ads. And why? Because he was running his Google ads and he learned all this stuff. That's why I tell y'all, anybody who knows how to do Google ads, shop, TikTok shop ads, you're going to make some money. You're always going to make money, because if I come to you and say, man, oh man, could you just run my stuff? Can you just run my stuff? Yeah. Give me 25K. Give me 50K. I'll get you started today. And make sure you leave another 20K on the credit card for us to run ads. And I'm going to keep you rolling. Now, again, what's happening? I told y'all, people like having something to touch and feel. They like watching YouTubers. They used to like buying courses, but at the end of the day, they want something to touch and feel. So $8 million a month for a pet joint care chew. And pet care is saturated, but I told y'all, I did a whole video the other day so y'all can understand where I'm pivoting to and some of the stuff I've been investing in, because again, and I'll show another chart in a second, but you can listen to some of the stuff he says, and it's and his video views aren't big, because I want y'all to understand, actually running business is boring. Actually scaling, actually talking to you about, hey, if you do this, it can be boring. And this is $1 million game he's giving. I'm not, if y'all ever see, hey, Erica said you have $1 million game. It does. They're going to run some of these people up to 3 and 10 million a month on their Shopify sites. That's why when I tell you 10 million is this new number, it's a new number, right? It just is. There's 0 to 3 million is where you're going to see a lot of these YouTubers fall, a lot of these podcasters, 0 to 3 million. They can't get to the next level, because what it takes to get you to the next level is a different type of approach. It just is. Right? 6 million, again, all the college and stuff. Like, y'all can go look this up. Like, he's been talking this stuff for 5-6 years about, and people think, oh, boring. Google ads, boring. Nobody wants to study and read this stuff. Right? And this is consistency. I tell y'all, just keep talking about one topic. Eventually you'll blow. And what you'll realize is people like hearing it, like, cool, you do YouTube, but they rather you just do it for them. And that's where the big money is. Can you do it for me? Great. Carlton Denton, what people keep forgetting is Carlton Denton mom has ran a tax office. Brandy, tell me how I say it right. A tax preparation office or whatever for the past 20 plus years. She's got 4 sons. All of them married to Latinas. They're in San Diego, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And her son hit the YouTube, and the YouTube now has got the family business, past the millions. But she's been running that company for 20 years. And a lot of people don't understand. Like, they don't. Like, there's something about some of these super millennials. They figured out some of this internet stuff. But let me keep it pushing. All right. I'm going to go to average men. But first, I'm going to play this clip from Grant Cardone real quick. I know y'all don't like him, but it's all good. Let me play this clip real quick, and then we're going to go to the next part. Okay, here we go. Yeah, tax preparation office. Thank you so much.
A year, I think that's about what we reach in order to do business with 150,000 people. These 150,000 people, I'm giving you information right now how to build your business. This is where you're going to go, by the way. This is what I'm going to show you how to do. If you're a waiter, a fisherman, a car salesman, a plumber, HVAC, solar, you sell clothes, you work at Neiman Marcus. I was talking to a lady at Neiman Marcus in Los Angeles the other day. I'm like, how long are you going to do this? You're great at what you do, but how long are you going to do this before you become the next version of yourself? I've sold clothes. I've sold shoes. I've sold fish. I've worked in a refinery. I used to put roofs on houses in the summertime. I was a bad student. I sold cars. What else have I sold, Jared?
Let's see. Shoes, fish, cars.
Refinery. Worked on a boat.
You said
carpenter.
Slang some drugs.
No, I didn't do that. But I used a lot of drugs, and I'm not proud of it. Okay. Anyway, I did all that stuff in order to figure out what I'm going to do. But these were all earlier versions of myself running around. Johnny, do you have the evolution of the entrepreneur?
Working on it right now.
Yeah, thank you. And for all you guys came here today because you want to make more money. Okay. In fact, to tell you,
let me pause it there. That's good enough, because I know where you're going with this. But there is, when I talk to y'all about pivoting, Grant Cardone is like the boss level of pivoting. Like he lived in Lionel Richie's house, stole that, came down to Florida, stayed in a hotel for 2 months, came and pivoted again. I mean, like, if you really study him, he lets you know when he done with something. You know, every year they say this the last 10x, but I promise you, he like, it's a wrap. Right? He's like, this is my last 10x because if you watch the video some more, and I'm trying to think which part, I might have lost it, but he's basically taking some of the companies public. Like they've been running around buying up all those people's little companies, and people are like, oh, what are they doing? Really, all they do is come into your company and buy up half the shares. And then they go and run a bunch of ads, blow your company up from 3 million to 30 million, Brecca, or some of them other people, 10X Health, all that stuff. They blow it up. All right. They do that with roofing. They do it with farming. They do it with a lot of companies. They got I think they're invested in 350 companies. And he's going to take at least 10 of them public. So then they're on the stock market. You can see him now talking to stock market guys. Again, by the time you think of Grant Cardone in 10 years, it'll be financial. His daughters will be all up in the financial space, talking on Wall Street. They're not going to be doing motivational speaking. They're not going to do that. They're going to be talking financial. That's what he told you years ago. Grant Cardone's name is going to be associated with banking. He already told you what the play is. And then he's doing all this political stuff in California. So his daughters are either going to be in the political field or they're going to be in banking. Simple as that. I'm telling you, you listen to the numbers he's talking, they want to sell to some family offices. It's simple as that. Take some of it public, take it to the family offices. So now he no longer is the internet guru guy. He's the finance guy. He wants that JP Morgan kind of status. You know what I mean? And you're just getting older. So the pivot is there. The pivot is there. So let me go to the next part. What else I was going to show y'all? I was going to talk about average men. But before I talk about average men, let me show you this. And average men is going to go into this whole thing. Average is just what people are financially making. All right. So I want to keep it up. You know what I'm saying? Let's just keep it that way. Right. We're going to go there. Average men and the gender war stuff. And it's all money. It's all money. It's not social skills. It's all money. It's like, I know I don't make money, but you're throwing it in my face. I know I don't make money, but I should still have access to somebody like you. That's just the money is where they're upset. It's all money. It's not anything to do with women. Women should be nicer and fitter. There's nice fit women all over it. They cannot get with them. It just is what it is. Okay. So let's go on. We're going to start here though. This is so important. I want y'all to understand. This is, again, I'll show you their stuff. Grant Cardone. This is Cardone University related. What are the breakpoints in people's businesses? Okay. He looks terrible there. Never shave your head again. But he did it for that TV show. All right. So this is very common. Everybody can see this screen. Phase 1 is startup. Let me just make it bigger because it's just irking me already. There we go. That makes me feel better. Phase 1 is 100,000 to 3 million. When I tell y'all that there are so many people on YouTube that we can show you how to get 10K a month, how to do sales, conversations, consulting calls, affiliate marketing, Facebook pay you out pretty good money. 10K a month is life-changing. The first 2 years you make it online. The third year, it's like, okay, well, I'm kind of stuck here. What's next, right? And it's usually scaling up. So this 100K to 3 million is what we call the startup phase, right? And I'm not going to spend forever here, but I just want y'all to understand, like, we can get a lot of people here. There's a lot of YouTubers, a lot of podcasters, a lot of roofing companies, a lot of cleaning businesses. They get stuck here because to go to the next level, it's starting to be able to, what are the systems? So there's a lot of money Grant Cardone to make teaching systems. There's a lot of money. I showed y'all him, Carlos Reyes, teaching Latino men systems because the Latinos working hard. They working real hard, but they're getting stuck at a certain number because they don't have the systems, right? So again, you scroll down here, you go to core leadership to executive phase, right? And prime example, somebody made a comment. I'm gonna address it. Let me go back up where you said here, right here. Where were you? Okay, here you go. Here you go. This right here. This is what I'm gonna say. That doesn't make sense. If he made 50 million with his business, why couldn't he pay the contractors out of the money from his business ventures, not what he earned? So again, when it comes to clothing, Christian, you're talking about 10 to 20% profit margins. So they could have sold 50 million in shorts, but the profit margins are only 10%, right? And so if it's, profit margins are 10%, you're talking about out of 50 million, 5 million, right? And so out of that 5 million, you know, is he counting after they pay the staff, or are you talking about, again, you can go look at, and I see one of you say, well, who is Sean Coakley? And I'll, hold on. And he was hanging with, and again, all this stuff comes from who do you hang out with, right? And who are you around? And because they were around each other, if I can even pull them up, Anaka, what do you call that crap? Hold on. Anaka. Let me see if I can pull it up. I don't think I'm able to pull it up. Let me see. You know, when I want to show something, this is the disrespect. The computer's like, you want to show something? Man, it's tripping. Hold on. You know, I be wanting to show y'all something. Like I'm doing something. It be just trying to disrespect me so bad. You know what? Okay. I'm not going to be able to show it. Because I went digging for it. I'm spelling the name wrong. But it's a Anaka Neve Sleeves. Right? A lot of these guys are young men, but they're trying to do, you know, bench dips and all this other stuff. And their kneecaps is hurting. They crying, oh, my kneecaps, right? And it's like, well, why is your kneecaps hurting? That's kind of crazy. But what comes out of it is, you know, people overweight, people taking steroids, all that stuff. Let me see if I can pull up as you know, I'll be trying to show y'all something cool. It just be disrespecting me. I don't know why. Oh, there you go. I found it. But let me finish this conversation before I click over to it. Okay. What happens is, Christian, is a lot of these people are great at social media. And I've been victim of it too. I'm great at this camera. I'm great at reviewing things. I'm great at breakdowns. When it comes to running a trucking company, struggle. When it comes to running day-to-day operations on certain businesses, struggle. You have to put a system and people in place to run these things. And if you don't know what you're doing, then you're like, look at all this money we made. And then you're looking at the death by 1,000 cuts of little stuff that eats you up, right? So I was able to just send off the last like 2 trucks I had and gave it to another company. Like, hey, just run these and cut me a check. I don't even want to be the other. Same thing with property management. You get to a certain level, you're like, hey, just run these and cut me a check. I don't want to be bothered with this. The more money you make, the less you're interested in doing this, like in the grind, in the minutia shit. You just don't care about it anymore. And like, I'm past not caring about it. Like the 2 partnerships I have setting up coming up, I'm like, what you need? You need 2K, 2 to 3K a month, so we can make 10 to 30 every month. Great. I don't care. And we split it. I don't care. Right. Now, when you see these guys saying, nah, you need 25K to work with me. If 25K is going to get you 100 to 300,000 every single month, and they're running a lot of the stuff and they're following you up on reports, people opt for that all the time. There's just levels and ages to some of this stuff where you're like, I do not care to grind. I'm over that. Did it in my 20s. I have friends who are in their 40s and 50s, and I see them and the look in their eyes when they have to go grind now because they bullshitted a lot of the time. It's sad. So, here you can get to this 25 to 45 million, but you got to empower others to be leaders. That means trusting them to scale your business without losing vision. This is a make or break point. This is where people break. All these are break points. You get from 3 million to 3 to 8 million. All of a sudden you have to have staff. You have to start documenting everything you do. You have to show where did this money go? What happened? Everybody getting their payroll on time? Like you start having to really document. And I have friends who've gone here. And I told you on the last video, or did I not post that one? I might not post that one, but I was saying how there's 3 or 4 people I know who wanted to do bankruptcy, but because they were so generous, they gave their parents houses, they bought cars for their siblings. When it came to bankruptcy court, he's like, yo, you gotta take that house from your mama. You gotta take the house from your dad. And they're like, nah, I won't do that. I won't take the house. I'll just figure it out. And they're back at this phase again. They're back at startup phase, and they know all the things they did wrong the first time, and then they're going here to this phase. Because they did it before, they just don't have the energy to do it again. And 2020 to 2022 was a unique time in space. What you have to learn, and what I've learned just deep diving into the financial side of things, is you know, and thank God I spent years reading. It's like, okay, you can lose it and make it again, but also you can pivot. And I'm going to show that in a second on another screen. But this is, if you don't learn nothing else, a lot of people get here and they get stuck here and they stay here and they're cool being here. They're cool being here. And again, I know people who've gone up to here and then had to fall back down. Right? Again, the 18 to 50 million, you're not walking around harassing everybody. You're not. You're doing whatever it takes to bring in the leads, right? So let me go here. Just to show y'all what I was talking about with Anaka. Just to show you who I'm talking about. Because some of y'all are like, I want to follow this guy. Cool. I mean, what people forget about his story is his dad's a Nigerian in Houston. And what? He owns an oil company in Houston. So when you start reading, you know, this guy basically is hanging around nothing. He has no black friends, no black people. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's because his parents had him live in a particular neighborhood, had him dealing with certain people. And then he started to adjust or mend things. You could see it. So you can go watch this for yourself. Again, he's starting to build his own gym. Supposedly, you know, at one point he wanted to move to London. I keep telling y'all, every time people have like a lot of money and they don't know what to do, they're like, I can go over here. He had this like condo and house at the same time. So, you know, inappropriateness was going on. Eight-figure clothing company right here. Go watch this video if you want to learn. Yeah, we made like, you know, 5 million and then we sold, you know, 50 to 80 million. But people forget, like in clothing, because in America, all our stuff, we're pulling it over from overseas. The margins are very low. This is something Max Tuning even broke down in one of his videos. He's like, the margins are terrible. He's like, the candy margins, 60, 70%, right? He wrecked his Lambo. He's giving away his cars. Like, it's just, he tells you, this is like, if you go and watch a couple of this, right? Bought his mom a car, all this stuff. Like, if you watch a bit of this, he says a lot. He's very transparent. He says a lot. But essentially, he started with the Anaka sleeves, knee sleeves, selling them out of an apartment, and then went from there to, again, he's in that whole Houston fitness, you know, knee sleeves, clothing. And what's happened is he hired young people on his staff. So now that even though he's getting older, like they're telling him what's the flavor, you know, what people like to do, what people like to wear. And you have to do that. At some point in your business, you'll get to a point where you're like, I'm actually out of sync with what people are wearing. Like, and sometimes he'll try on the clothes, and that's the funniest part. He'll try on the clothes and you're like, what are you wearing? Like, that ain't even for your age group. You know what I'm saying? It's funny, but that's funny to me, not to everybody else. Okay, let me go on out of here. Just repeat, just go watch the video again. I'm not going to repeat like 10 times. That's annoying to me as a creator. Like, you can just rewind the video. Here we go. And I hate that we're so far behind, but let's get into it. This is, we're going to call this next 6 minutes average time. And this is why so millennials are upset. And I'm going to go there for 2 seconds. I'm going to say, the reason I talk about ticket resale so much is they get so upset. It's called the experience economy. A lot of these wealthy people and their kids, what is something we missed during COVID? You couldn't go places, you couldn't travel, you couldn't do stuff. So people are like going the other spectrum of like, I'm gonna hit it all. They even showed after Trump won the election in November, there was like a short spending spree in December. And they're like, oh, I thought nobody had any money. And it's like huge numbers, right? Where people were just spending. Okay. And they're trying to figure out, where is this coming from? I'm telling you, there's money sitting on the sidelines that these people can't account for. But it's the super millennials. It's the kids here that I live in Austin. They're making 180 every year. They bought a house. They're just kind of stacking it. They don't know where to do with it. They don't know where to go with it. But they do know, hey, Erica, let's go to these music concerts. I have, if I look at my phone, from June to August, I'll be in and out of the country. But from September to November, I've already bought like 20 music concerts. And I had to literally buy 4 tickets so we can sell 2. Because every concert's so expensive, it's over the top. It's like, if I have friends that want to come, great. But if not, we'll sell 2. And then I literally, a lot of my friends here in Austin will go, hey, they're crazy price. They're like $500 per ticket. What's going on in Houston? What's going on in Austin? Houston's a more working class city and the tickets are always cheaper. Dallas, not so much. But if I get lucky, I go, hey man, they're playing one in Dallas and it's only like $100. Let's go. Let's just drive up 3 hours. And so you're competing for these events with people who are like, oh, we'll just drive up to Dallas. Right. I remember there was a Lainey Wilson concert and I've seen her like 3 times. I gotta chill out. I'm like stalking her at this point. She had a video in she was doing a concert in Vermont. I was like, and it's summertime. I'm like, we're going to Vermont. We're flying. Like she had one in Maine. I was like, we'll just fly. And so you have people who are competing with you who are willing to fly, go invest their time, go to these little towns. So you have the experience economy is happening. And, you know, when these people get a chance to buy up stuff, they're going to buy up some stuff. And I don't think people are ready for it. They're really not ready for it. And so before I hit the average, let me show you this whiteboard and I'm hit the average. I know I'm throwing y'all off. I'm sorry. I meant to hit this whiteboard earlier. Because time going time. You know what I mean? All right. So again, what I was just showing the breakpoints, e-com or business, just in general, podcasts, digital, physical business, roofing, anything can fit in this. Most people are going to put it here, real estate. They're going to either buy their own personal house, they're going to buy a rental or two, they're going to do something. And so the tax breaks, you know, help the business. This helps that. It goes back and forth. That's why the arrow is like this. Okay. That makes sense to everybody? Can everybody see the screen? Hopefully you can see the screen. If you can't see the screen, let me know. Put a 1 in the comments if you can see the screen. Okay, relax, y'all. Yeah. So again, e-com, business, real estate. Now, why am I doing the arrows like this? These are the returns, right? I know too many people who are like, hey, I'm gonna do a flip or two with a friend. I'm gonna do A, B, and C with a friend, and they're gonna get about 20% returns. Or I'm gonna buy a rental or two, and they're gonna get 20%. This is where people were buying a bunch in Detroit, Cleveland, and now they're switching to buying in Florida. They're switching to buying in other places, and people get mad. Like Austin had 60% of the people in buying where it had out-of-state LLCs or foreign LLCs. Yeah, because people want to be here. Or they're going to get short-term rental money or they're going to get long-term rental money. Now, as you're making this business and you realize real estate requires a little bit more of your time, it's annoying, you start sliding over to stocks. You're like, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to be bothered. I'll take my 7 to 14% returns. If you in my Wealth Wednesdays, we broke down a very popular brokerage here, financial advisors, wealth advisors. They literally told you in their packet, hey, you're getting 7%. And there's a language you have to use. I was at an event and this lady was like, oh yeah, give me your prospectus. Show me what your company does. Da, da, da. And I remember thinking to myself, I never want to be in a room and I don't have that particular vernacular to use or ability to move in that financial room. There's a financial conference that's happening in Miami called Future Proof. And I really want to go because I know it's the tip of the spear. But they're doing Future Proof in March in Miami. And it's just wealth management, you know, it's capital. It's where I'm kind of moving to anyway. But then they're going to have a Future Proof part in California. They're doing Future Proof later this year. They're breaking it into 3 different things. But it's literally called Future Proof Citywide. It's a whole thing, y'all. It's a whole thing. And I'll show y'all that on the screen in a second, but I can explain it better if I show it. But anyway, so even here, right? So I get here, right? And I get to the stocks, but now, even though I got my money working here and I got my money here, I'm really worried some more. So I need some insurance and I need some tax strategies. So people will evolutionarily get to this. But when you get to here, you're now starting playing defense. You're not playing offense and growing this. That's why I made these so little. Okay, if that makes sense. I hope that made sense. Now, if we get here, this is where most people are going to be. This is why I tell y'all, mobile notary, start a business, field adjuster, Google Ads, marketing, roofing, middleman to millions, government contracts. Like find your thing that you can make money on. Because if you're making a lot of money, this gets simple. You just say, bump it. Give me the 30% down house. Give me the 50 grand to get into the real estate syndication. Give me this to just cut that part out. Then you go, okay, that's enough for real estate. Let me do a business franchise. Let's say you're a Brandy and you've been working for a tax office forever. And you say, let me start my own tax office. Let me keep it pushing. Then you can go here and dump some money in stocks or dump some money back in real estate, right? But it starts with high income. This is why when we say it's 2 Americas, it's really 4 Americas going on, and people feel so disconnected. And I'll play that clip. It's because these people are not like, when you talk about eggs and you talk about beef, they like, what y'all talking about? What are y'all talking about? Right? There's a girl who loves showing budgets. Like, it was a couple that made $1 million a year near New York, and they were basically living paycheck to paycheck. People could not understand it. They had chefs, they had physical trainers, they had nannies, they had all of it. And people were like, if I had $1 million a year, I'd never work again. That's because you live off 50K right now. You think that, you don't know. And you don't live in New York. They live in New York. It's a different conversation. Okay. So again, high income, go straight to the business, right? You're doing the franchise thing. And then you say, you know, let's buy some more real estate. And then let's dump some in stocks. Every way you go down this train, you want to get less and less mental focus. You want it to be almost like a throw off. It's just like a spillover. Spills over, spills over, spills over. Right. So when Max says it was life-changing money, I know it's anywhere from 35 million to 60 million. The crazy part is the candy company already did 40 million in a year. That's not his take-home pay though. So if Hershey was like, yo, we need to buy this candy from you right now. The screen's blank. What screen's blank? Refresh your screen. Refresh your screen. Can everybody see this? Put a one to go. Hey, can everybody see this? Yes or no? Can everybody see this? Oh no. Can y'all see this? I hope you can. So he had to be between 35 million to 60 million. Because if I cut you a lump sum check, and Max, what problem is he was at a break point. He did not know who to hire. He had Mona who helped him do the clothing for a long time, right? So he didn't know who to hire, who to work with, what to do. And that's what he kept saying. He's like, I don't know who to hire, how to work through. I don't know how to work with staff. And I knew when I heard him kept saying that every couple of videos, I said, he's going to sell. He's going to sell. He did this in less than 4 years. He made that company make $40 million. Like, all the people in that plane were like, how, oh my God, like, he's made so much money so fast that he like lapped past all of them. And he knows financials. Like, he knows the stock market. He talks a lot about stocks. In some of those videos, he takes them down because he realized, like, you guys are just here because I do goofy, silly stuff. You're not here to hear about me. And he obsesses about it. So, you know, it's just like being focused. So 30 million a year is that new magical net worth number. There's 240,000 Americans who have that in America. And that's not high tier. Like, y'all see me show y'all that book. What's comfortably rich, what's wealthy. Literally, there's people that have 30 million thing is 240,000 people. So it's not a little bit, it's some people. 10 million is that kick ground. And to be honest with y'all, in this graph I'm showing you, I know countless Black and Latino people who hit 10 mil, under 10 mil, but close to 10 mil during the pandemic. Whether their roofing did something, they did a solar business, all of a sudden they made $2 million, $3 million, and they get stuck here and they go, Erica, oh my God, maybe I should invest in real estate. Maybe I should buy a bigger house. Maybe I should do this. A lot of them did this. They bought real estate and they spilled over into stocks. But what you realize, if you're really strong in the business side, you're not as strong in stocks. It requires a lot of attention. Like, I love stocks for just dumping it. I just put some money over there. I just find a dividend stock and I just dump it. I just sit over there and I'll just take a loan out against the stocks. As much as I would love to be like Diamond Dave and them, like, I've done 1 or 2 trades and I'll be like, that was a lot of mental energy. I'm tired. like I'd rather figure out stuff I can buy and resell. I'd rather find out stuff I can buy from China for $2 and sell it for $25, $30. I'd rather have a middleman to million business and partner with another business person, pay for all the marketing, and then they make the business run. I'd rather do that over and over again every day. There's just certain things you just know you can't, unless you're willing to be obsessive, study it, and be serious. It's hard. It's hard. And then when people start talking about, hey, you can do this with insurance and this and that, I really, half the time, I'm like, whatever. I'm like, I'm going to stay here and build this up so big that your conversation is different to me. And I'll promise you, when you make 100,000 to 300,000 a month, you're talking about 100% different conversations. Right now, I have a tax year that I did really well. My phone from that one tax year rings nonstop about people like, hey, can we get some funding for your business? Can we help your business get funding? We have a business office, 2 different mailboxes We get nonstop mail from banks, nonstop mail from financial advisors. Hey, can we help your business? Can we help your business? Can we? You looking to invest? You looking to, like, they're searching day and night on public data and Melissa's data for people that make money. So even if your money situation has changed, like I literally had a guy on the phone picture like, hey, for 10K a month, I can do this and that. I said, let me tell you something. For 10K a month, what you're going to do for me is you're going to go apply for me some business loans. You're going to get me some more financing. You're going to find me some tax strategies. You're going to do some work. You're not getting 10K out of me just because of this. Once you start getting deeper into this, once you start sliding deeper into this and really studying, it's a lot of buzzwords. It's a lot of buzzwords, but this is the overall chart. And you can, and if you in the group I was in, if you had 200,000 in credit cards, they just went all in on one or two, right? They went all in real estate, or they went all into like ticket resale. And those guys ran that thing up to $2 million, right? They just every month was like reinvest, and you can run it up. One of our friends, I'm trying not to tell his business, but he had an ulcer. He had to sell his business because he started having like a bunch of ulcers in his stomach. He made during the pandemic a $6 million Shopify page on like a tactical gear. I'm talking about the belts, the loops, when I showed you Mike Glover video a couple days ago, the belts, the loops, the gun stuff, like he made $6 million, like clothing, shirts, all of it. He was so excited, but every day we'd be like, are you all right, man? Are you all right? And he basically fell out on the ground and had a bunch of bleeding ulcers and had to be taken to the hospital. And they basically said, whatever you're doing, stop. Like whatever's causing you this much upsetness, that's burning holes in your stomach, got you in the hospital for 2 weeks. Like, you got to stop. You're a 29-year-old man. What are you doing? Right now, we were like, bro, if you're taking some drugs, let us know. But he was like, no, I'm not taking no drugs. It's totally the stress of running this business. And so he sold it to another guy for $6 million. So we're like, dude, you made $6 million. You sold for $6 million. Whatever is the negative or taxes you had to pay, you're still good. Now you can go do something else. And that's kind of what he was spending his time on, is trying to figure out what's the next thing I'm going to do. And that's a lot of these people. But people that really obsess, they can run those businesses up to 6 mil. They don't have to get ulcers, but you can get it up pretty high in a year's time if you are heavy on the advertising. So that's that on that. Let me get out of here. Let me show you the other thing I want to show you. Keep it moving. Now this is I didn't want this video to be that long, but it is going to be that long. I'm so sorry. This is the average segment. That's where we're going to go with this. And then be able to hop back into the other clips. And this is why people are so upset. And I'm glad my friend did this. I used to know him, but I'd say associate is a better word. So again, what annual income would you need to feel rich? They ask most people, they're talking about $500,000. White Americans saying $500,000. Black Americans are saying 621,000. I don't know where the hell that number came from. Hispanic Americans are like 494. Gen Z is like 460. Millennials 480. Adults with no children, 500,000. People with children, 500,000. So I don't know what is this number. I don't know why this is a number, but people are big on this. Now, he used to live here in Austin. He used to be in financial here in Austin. He's now in Houston, married to a beautiful black lady, beautiful girl. But again, like, and he had a podcast for a while, and he went and said, okay, well, they don't do the podcast together anymore, but it was two nerdy black guys doing a financial podcast. Now, let me go over here to the beginning part. Let me see over here. Can I get over here? This is the average male. 5'9", 68,000.
Other data sets and talk about how we got here today. First, I'm going to talk about a breakdown of the average man, which does include married and single men.
Again, average dude's 5'9". When people say they got a 6 foot man husband, I'm like, did you find him at a basketball court? Did you find him at the leftover tryouts for the NBA? Where did you find this man? Because they don't really exist. As a woman who's 5'7", and people say, Erica, oh, you don't seem that tall. I go out. When I used to go on dates, I show up. The man tell me he was 5'8", and he was shorter than me all the time. All the time. I had a boyfriend one time for 2 years. He was 5'4", and all my friends were like, what is going on? I said, he makes 180 a year. He makes 180 a year. What? Say something. You know what I'm And he was the best. He was a sweet, nice guy, but it was like, knock it off. Like, there are not that many tall men out there. That is a phantom myth. And even my significant other now, that's like an inch taller than me. I'm like, thank the Lord. But it's like, I want y'all to understand, like, there's not no tall men out here. So when you do meet them, yeah, they get a lot of attention because they ain't none out here. There ain't none out here. Knock it off. Cut it out. Okay, so let me go to this first clip. I think it's right here.
Y'all then asked me from my last video if I could do a breakdown of just single men. I'm going to share the data that I found around single men as of 2025 in America. And then I'm going to wrap up with household data and net.
It's let me get to it. That's not it. It's right here. Okay, here you go.
And 41,000 for all workers. However, when we just look at full-time workers, these figures do increase, with all workers earning around 60,000, with men earning 62,000 and women earning 50,000. Keep in mind, these are median income and the figures do reflect 2022. So then I looked to see if I could update these figures for 2025. Pulling forward that data from the US Census Bureau, I then summarized into this table for average height, weight, and salary, finding that the average man earned a little over 84,000 and the median salary of 60,000. According to health data from the US CDC, we then found that these men.
Look at that map. 5'9" everywhere. You got some 5'10" in the nowhere parts. You got some 5'10" Miami, short. Florida, short men party. Short, under 5'9". They barely averaging that. Okay. So again, look at this stuff. Knock it off. There ain't no tall men. What tall men? Where they at? They don't exist. That's why people walk around telling, I'm 6 foot tall. Diamond Dave, let me tell you something. Just not even being funny. Diamond Dave and Dr. Dix. I had never met them in person until we did that one Atlanta event, right? We didn't meet in person. And I came in the room and I listen, I swore I just was going to know that Dr. Dix was going to be 5'5". Man, I came in there, I said, wait, what are you 6 foot tall? It's crazy. Then you know, Ray Gunn is in here. If he's still in the chat, I know people got stuff they got to do on Saturday. Ray Gunn sitting here 6'3", 6'4". I said, good Lord, who is this? What do you play basketball overseas? Then Diamond Day came in. I said, okay, these are basketball players. Again, basketball players. I want y'all to understand. I used to work at when I first came to Austin. This is so many years ago. I worked at Jason's Deli, and it was the place to be at lunchtime. Because it was like a sea of 6 foot men came in. They all worked in finance and they all worked in tech. If you could see how ladies came there for lunch, it was so funny. Like, girl, you didn't want to come here for no lunch. You didn't want to grab no salad in heels and a dress. You walking by these tables looking for it. You looking for it, okay? So again, my grandma was taller than my dad. My grandma was almost 6 foot tall, went in the women's army. My grandfather was 5'4". When people saw them together, were like, what is happening? All my people that's from Tennessee, 6 foot tall, long hair Indian folk. And you see them, you be like, where are they from? I got, unfortunately, on my mom's side, my grandma's a little tiny lady. So, you know, you don't look out on height. Like I got cousins who are 5'9". I'd be like, girl, I'm jealous. I just needed 2 more inches and I'd be really doing something. So I want y'all to let that go. This all I want. I just want y'all to let it go. There's no tall men. There ain't out here. They're unicorns. That's it. Davey Lee. Yeah, I met Davey Lee. He is tall. I just want you to know it's unicorns. It's not real. It's a fake out. Don't look for it.
Weigh around 200 pounds. And also from the CDC, you can pull height. The average man is 5'9.7 inches. States ranks around
This is the tallest
47.
places. You got to go to Netherlands, Montenegro, Denmark, Iceland, Lithuania, Czech Republic, Serbia. Why you want to go to these places? You're going to start seeing the NBA. Go look at the NBA. It's all these foreign dudes. The average white guy you see in the NBA is from another country. There's a bunch of Australian dudes at the Summer League last year. And I was like, where are these Australians coming in here? They're tall. The NBA, football, everything is leading to a taller, bigger man. So if your son's under 5'9", I'm not trying to crash his dreams. I'm not a dream killer, but I want y'all to let that go. You got to let it go. Tell him something. Hey, we got to find you something else to do, baby.
This bureau does combine the salaries of men and women, but also reflects how much income we earn from ages 18 to 75. Highlighted in green for you is reflecting that.
And he does a great job. You can go see it. All right. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that line. That's all the way at the top. That is married white men. Look below that line. Everybody else, in comparison to the married white men, are broke. Now they're gonna show you the Asian one. I'm coming up to get ready to show you the Asian one in a second. But I want y'all to let this go. These men out here are making under 50K. That's why when you see a super millennial, you see a guy or girl who started a business, like they rich in comparison. In comparison. Right? In comparison. Right? So I just want you to understand, when you come out here and you're talking about, I make all this money, I'm a 6-figure man, that's a lie. If he says he's 6 feet tall and he makes 6 figures, girl, he's lying. You're going to get to the date and you're going to be upset. Don't do it. I just want y'all to understand, this is just data. This is not even like, oh, you're being a hater. This is data. The average guy is making 50K or less. Okay? 50K or less. He's 5'9", and lower your expectations on both sides. Okay? So let's keep it moving.
Average peak earnings of $90,000 a year. And the next closest group was married black men with an average earning of $62,000 a year.
Did you hear that? Married black men. The next highest earning is married black men. Black men are the yellow line. Look at that. They're going to talk bad about brothers, but look at the black men. They are up here. Once you get married, the mindset shifts. What you're working on, what you're focusing on shifts. When it's just you, you're chilling. Okay, married white women are this blue line. They're annoying, but let's just go there. They be at work like, girl, I'm working so hard. Like, girl, you got a whole husband. Hush. Okay, stop it. So again, can y'all see that? Can y'all see this right here? This is black men. Married black men. We talk bad, but look, married black men out here working. They doing it. They doing it. Exactly. But I want to tell you, like, if you really find some of these people, I want you to, I'm telling you, when I point you out on here, super millennials, go follow them. Because all they do is raise everybody up in their group. When they have a mastermind, everybody in the group rise up. I'm telling you, it's crazy. My 5-foot friend said on day that guys lied. Yeah, they meet her and she tall. 60K, 65K is what the black men are doing. It's tough. But that's, again, they go, well, black men ain't making no money. There you go. There you go. All right. Why you hurt and feel? Listen, I'm just telling the truth. I want y'all to have data. I don't want no funny business out here. Let me go. There's two more. Hold on.
Before you ask, no, that particular study did not look at other ethnicities beyond black and white. However, the U.S. Census Bureau does have household data.
Boom. This is the one I want to show you. Let me make it bigger. Is that bigger? Let me see if that made it bigger. Yeah, here it is. Asian men, 108, even during the recession years. Asian men up here by themselves, hanging tough, making money, engineers, working their ass off, owning businesses. 1 in 10 Asian men own a business. 1 in 34 whites. 1 in 50. Okay, 54 Hispanics own a business. 1 in 108 black people. Blacks, we down here. The Hispanics hanging tough above us by 10 grand. You're like, that's not a lot, Erica. Again, my friend worked at the financial department downtown. She was the financial analyst. She would donate her time to do people's taxes. It was just a thing. She felt good about it. I'm telling you, she would go down there. She's like, the Hispanic man would come in with 3, 4, 5, what do you call it, W-9s or whatever, and or W-2s or whatever you call them, W-9s. And she'd be like, all right, this was what you want to get back. He's like, give me 2 back. Take 2 off. They take 2 off. I feel like the Hispanic community are underreporting by big money. They're underreporting big. Because if you see the Hispanic community here in Texas, the way they're buying houses, and San Antonio bankers used to say they'd have Hispanic people come in there with $30,000 in cash, and they'd be like, essentially the bank had a policy here in Texas. If we can't prove it's drug money and you can show me you got jobs or you got banking with us, we're going to take the money and we're going to let you buy your house. Because what would happen is they would show up to these title companies. The title company would have to drive over to the bank with the people, have a sit down meeting, say, look, we're trying to close on this house today. Oh boy, done brought $30,000 in cash. Okay. It was freaking us out. Like, let's all work together. Let's get him a cashier's check so we can close on this house. And that was the only way these people were getting these monies cashed out, checked out. Because if you go to the bank right now with 30 grand, baby, you getting flagged. And they might not take your money. They might call the police. And that was going on in San Antonio, heavy. So much so that title companies had got used to, like, we're going to drive 2 in a car for our safety. You're going to drive in your car. We're going to meet at the bank. We already have called them on the phone. They're standing by to open the door and take us in the office. Like, Ask people who are in San Antonio. They'll tell you about it. These Asian people, these Hispanic people are not putting their money in the bank. They holding on to it. Why would you say take 2 off? So they can get more tax return. So they can get a bigger tax return. That's all that is. She would take and they say take 2 off, adjust it. I want some money back. So I feel like Latino people are underreporting, but we're going to leave that alone. Black people. What's we doing down here? This is medium household. So let's say it is just a woman in the house. Okay? And kids. Let's just say it is. That's what's going on. Let's say it's a married couple. That's that. Again, 52 and it's 2 of y'all. That means y'all barely making 30 a year each. That means y'all barely making 20 something a year. One of my nephew works at a food place. And there's a guy there with a family of 4 kids. You're making 40K, if that. I mean, depending on where you at, that's poverty line. If you in California with 52K for your whole house, that's poverty. Now, with the Asian over here, if him and his wife both working, so she get ready to get home, do the math. These are the people that's coming up buying all this stuff. That's why when you go to the Domain here in Austin, it's nothing but Asians and Indians going in and out of stores buying everything. Black people, white people just walking around like money. Right? There's a syndication group I'm with, and let's just be honest, out of a group of 100 people, 90 of them are Asian. It's like 1 black person and 9 white people. I just don't think y'all understand. I don't think y'all understand what's happening. Exactly. Come on. Wouldn't these numbers be indicative of the skill set or professional career versus working a regular job like retail and basic warehouse and single? For sure. Again, money's where the skills is. This is why when you see these, oh, I'm just an average guy. I'm just trying my best. What about an average guy, Erica? Average is over. Average been over. If you're an average person and you just want to cook out on the weekends and do barely, you can do what you want, right? I remember being in Alabama, in Hoover and Vestavia, Alabama. There were guys working at the plant, black men at the plant, making $60,000 to $72,000 a year at the plant. Is it a Mercedes plant? What is that plant called? Whatever that plant is in Alabama. And they were running around buying brand new homes that were like $120,000, $150,000. Now this is Alabama. This $120,000 home was big money. Like the men in Alabama, when we would talk to them, we were there with the Red Cross stuff. They were saying, they were joking about how they would drive up to Atlanta and try to get a girlfriend and convince the girls to move down to Alabama. Well, look, if you in Atlanta and you ain't really making that much money and you got some dude you dating, he working at a plant, he got a whole house. You know what I'm saying? You like, oh, well, we can visit Atlanta. I'll come where you are. And I know several black women who they owned a place in Atlanta. They met a guy in Alabama. They met a guy in North Georgia. They met a guy in Augusta. They met a guy in freaking Raleigh, North Carolina. And when push came to shove, they went ahead and left Atlanta. They sold the house or they rented it out. It's too many people I've seen. Too many. When push come to shove, hey, where that man live at? All right, let's go over there. And I'm telling you, there's white guys right here in Austin who, when they got married to the girls from church, they were like, girl, I'm so glad you got a house because my money and my credit is funny. Okay, so let's look at the data. The data tell the story. Okay, I got 2 more spots and I'm gonna get off this clip. Where the other one at?
And here's their report as of 2022 showing that a median income for Asian households was the highest at about $108,000 a year, followed by white households.
Oh my God, are you serious? What are your thoughts on girls who will only date men who are 6 feet tall, make 6 figures, and are 6 inches? I would assume you're referring to the size. Hey, you need to have standards in your life, and they are important. That being said, I do think not a lot of people understand how small of the population that is.
To 20 to 30% more hours than single men. Not at all. Overall, the data shows
to have standards. And I do think
sorry, hold on.
Population dollars more.
When I want to click on it, there it is. Boom. There we go. This is the thing. I want you to look at this. I want you to look at this. Look at it, okay? Men were asked, when's the last time you asked a woman in person at school, bar, club, class, work, hobby, or gathering for a date? 45% of men 18 to 25 have never approached a woman in person. 18 to 25, half of them have not even talked to a woman. They ain't even talking to women. This internet stuff is fake. They're scared. I have a friend who's in his 40s. I said, when's the last time you talked to a woman? I don't ever go up to women. He did it the next week just because I was talking smack at lunch. I was like, oh, you a punk. You a punk. You scared. And he went and he said, oh, yeah, it was cool. It was cool. And it was funny because I'm like, if no one ever says anything to you, like, hey, why you aren't meeting girls? What's going on? You know, my one nephew that's 18, he got that old man swag. He be talking like, hey, how you doing, girl? Hey, how you doing? I'll be like, oh, look at you. You know what I mean? At least you're talking to him. At least you ain't scared of him. Shit. People out here scared of him. Right. But the numbers still show 1 in 3 people. And this is important, right? People trying to talk on the Twitter, the DMs, all that stuff. 1 in 3 people still get married, meeting at work. 1 in 3 still get married, meeting from friends and family referral. And I think it's 1 in 5 meet from online and get married. 1 in 5. It's very low. It's very low. This is why that guy, Professor G, says if you know a man under 30, he has a relationship and he's happy and got a job, he's winning in comparison to his friends. He's winning. It's bad. So when you ask them why you ain't meeting girls at your hobbies, look at the hobbies. Comic books, cosplay, debating, drinking, anime, crypto, cigars, clubbing's very low, marijuana, arguing online, porn, gambling, manosphere. Manosphere done made the list, y'all. Oh, Lord Jesus, it done made it in a bad way. These are the 15 least attractive hobbies to women. There you go. That's why I tell you, it's all about proximity. Some of these girls, and let's go there, at college, they see old Jerome. Hold on, sorry. I'm about to sneeze and I'm about to laugh. That's too many things going on. I'm about to sneeze and I'm about to laugh. Hold on, sorry. They see Jerome out here looking good, playing football. They put themselves in proximity to Jerome at all costs. Just like when they see a 6 foot tall man on campus, they put themselves in proximity at all costs. Right? I told y'all I was here in Austin, and one day I said, Lord, I just want to manifest a black man in tech. And all week long I ran into tech people. Half of them was married, but all week long I just magically ran into black tech men. I'd be in a line at the store, I'd be at the grocery store, I'd be at HEB. I'd be like, Lord, they're everywhere. Right? Oh my goodness. Right? And so you got to realize some of these people are telling big stories out here. Let me show you this, and let me show you something funny. Let me go here. Because people are, oh, here it is. Yeah. Here it is. This right? Let me do it like this.
And the median income was $48,000.
So average single male is making $33,000 a year. This is why all that dating, 50-50, girl, I need you to help me, girl, please. I need some money. Help me, girl, please meet me in the middle. Let me drive your car to work. Help me, girl. I'm at 33,000, girl. Help me. Okay, that's what's happening. Now let's go over here. This is this, right? Male house, home, living alone. This is when they do their taxes, okay? $48,000 to $67,000. Now this guy's doing better. Now he can't trick, but he doing better, okay? I just want you to pay attention. Okay, this is the single men. Okay, so when you meet a person, they tell you, okay, they can't be tricking. Dated one guy whose brother told him to go to Thailand to get a girl. He don't even have a passport. Again, even Kevin Samuels, because so many men kept saying on his channel, said, if you're making under $50,000 a year and you're talking to me about going overseas to get a woman, you're living in a fantasy. You're living in a fantasy. Let it go. And that's what's happening. Now you look 2-3 years in, some of these guys still talking about passport stuff. Ain't even got a passport. Keep it pushing. So true. Many of these guys walking around, keep hovering around, but won't say a word. Look at you to say something. I experienced this in the Christian dating market when we were at a church. We had 300 people in these giant, meetings. There's a one in Dallas that's got like 1,000 people show up every Friday. It's insane. But they kind of expect you just to kind of, hey, good luck, mix and mingle, good luck. And even the church, like the church I went to was like, hey, we're going to teach everybody how to two-step. We had guys in there. They were so nervous to talk to you. They were sweating through their shirts. Now, they done taught everybody how to dance. You just can walk up. This is the easy yes. Hey, just grab her hand, go to the dance floor. We're here at this event on a Wednesday night. The club's not busy. The dance hall's not busy. You can go. Okay? And so what they do, the guy, I mean, I literally danced with one guy. His hands were so sweaty, they were dripping, y'all. I wanted to laugh. I was like, don't laugh. He trying. And he was the nicest white guy. He was really interested, but it was like, are you expecting me to ask you? You're crazy. Boy, you crazy. I'm not asking you for nothing. There was an Israeli dude, and he's like, you want to go for coffee? I was like, what we doing after coffee? I don't know. So there is this kind of like, they're hyping the fear because I was cool to dance all night with whoever. I didn't care. But you got to realize you got 300 people here and people are nervous. It's easy to quick pair off. Like there was one guy, he dated this girl. He went overseas for 9 months. And they're like, you're marrying her? You ain't talked to her. You've been overseas deployed in the military. He was like, I know her. I know her. And he came back and all the guys were like, y'all getting married? You just talked over the phone. You got to realize people out here struggling. I'm talking about he was sweating. I'm talking about sweat dripping from his hand. And I was like, well, damn, like, ew. Ew. But he was just nice. He was nice. But there was a lot of them like that. And you're like, I'm talking about they drinking beer to get liquid courage. I'm like, relax. It's a bunch of us here. Just go dance. Nobody's going to do anything to you.
The study from
Let me go
about age 31 on average to marry, with women marrying.
All right, boom. Here we go. These are the ages people are getting married. First marriages. Look at Utah, 25 on the dot, baby. Idaho, 26 on the dot. Okay, you go to New York, you go to Florida. Okay, y'all hanging out long. California, Nevada, y'all hanging out a little too long. Okay, that's why it's purple like that. Illinois. Is that Illinois? This is Michigan. What's this? Yeah, that's Illinois because this is Indiana. Okay, Illinois, hanging tough. The rest of the country is wrapping this up. That's why when I be online and somebody be 40 years old talking about marriage, I be like, babe, what you talking about? What is you talking about? You just choosing not to be married at this point. You go pick a person. So you don't want to hear that though. That's Erica, you being disrespectful. Cool. I'll just tell y'all like this. Anytime you start to get focused on mission, on purpose, you're going to weed out a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? You're going to weed out a lot of people. Okay. When you start, you know, hey, I'm focused to do this. Like there's a girl, I'm gonna tell this story. She ain't ever gonna find this, right? She was married to a guy. They got married right out of college. She'd been working for an engineer for 8 years. He kept going to college to try to get a master's degree, to try to become a professor, all this weird stuff. And looked up, she was like, you ain't had no real job since we left college. And so, you know, they kind of got into it back and forth. Like, do you want to have kids? What do you want to do? No. And, you know, I'm still trying to figure out my career. And so she divorced him. The judge made her pay for his car and the apartment for 6 months till he could find a job. And you know what this sucker did? He was like, I'm still at school. Long story short, I'm not saying she was cheating, but her coworker that's 5'5", makes a ton of money. He was always so fun to us. When she got transferred to North Carolina, he took a transfer too. We looked up a year later, they were married. I said, now, if y'all was cheating, that's all y'all had to say. But imagine being married to somebody fresh out of college and y'all are now 27, 28, and that person still doesn't have a real job. And you're a woman making 150, 160 a year. Don't think all these white girls is winning. They're not. Some of them are literally carrying some people, right? From 22 to 28 is a lot of changes in your development as an adult and as a person. And so, you know, she was dating that little short dude. That little short dude was making some money. He was fun. He had these thick eyebrows, and we used to make fun of his eyebrows. But he paid for all our drinks, and he was a blast. He could dance and everything. So I was like, "What y'all cheating at work?" She's like, "I never cheated on my spouse, Erica." I was like, "I'm not judging, because somebody staying at home not working and keep going to school and switching colleges. Somebody got to do something up in there. We moving some furniture, and I mean you moving. That's what I mean." So, anyways. Look, West Virginia, you already know what time it is. You know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? Like West Virginia up there, 14. Anyway, let me get out of there. So I just want you to see that. All this is data backed. Let me get out of here. Y'all can go watch him on your own time. You can go watch his video on your own time. Now I'm gonna give y'all the segment of sad. Brace yourselves. We're about to have segment of sad. Please. Don't be mad at me. I have to show you these because if you didn't see them, you wouldn't believe they exist. Okay. All right. Here we go. First segment of sad.
in my car very often. I usually will do it at home with.
I'm gonna pause it here because hers is real sad. Now she is in one day. This is a channel with only 5,000 subscribers. This is how you tell you YouTube's pushing stuff. And sometimes these hashtags, never too late. You're not alone. If you want to use those hashtags, I'm gonna tell you as a YouTuber, use these hashtags. This is what's going on right now. She had 117,000 views in one day. And this is not paid. I'm telling you, it's these hashtags right here. Never too late. You're not alone. And hope. This is a big watching block on YouTube. I'm 57 and broke. If you see the comments, woo, baby, 50 plus and they're disabled, it's a bunch. I mean, the comments wear me out. I can't even. She basically tells you she didn't want to do this video because she was scared her family members might see it. Okay, I don't want y'all to understand. This is a huge. I mean, this video, exactly. YouTube pushing it hard right now. Right? I'm being very clear. It's a lot. It's getting pushed heavy. Okay. If you want your video to blow up this week, just like I did the biggest wealth transfer and it did 33,000, you do the math on that. Okay. You can go look at that on your own. I don't want to play too many sads. I'm sorry. I'm gonna skip hers. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna do this one. It's just because time. I realize time is getting away from us, but it is what it is. It just is what it is. Like if you're here for the video, thank you for being here. Okay, let me go. Here we go. This one. He's very popular. What did I tell y'all earlier? You can make a lot of money telling people, oh, the stock market crashing, the house is crashing, everybody poor. If you want to make money right now and for this year, just like when people did a bunch of Trump videos last year, made a lot of money, Anton Daniels, you can make a lot of money right now with this video topic. Here you go.
America, everyone's poor. And it's normal now. And that was the point. The average person in America is simply getting left behind. The work culture is changing. It's been bad for a long time, but it's just getting worse. There's no real incentive anymore. There's just expectation. And the expectation is that you need to work between 60 and 80 hours a week. Essentially, it's normal now to work 2 full-time jobs. To work 80 hours a week 10, 20 years ago would have been lunacy. You'd be called a workaholic. It was a negative thing. Now it's normal. It's expected. In fact, if you work less than 80 hours a week, there's probably something wrong with you. You're just not being productive. At what point in the work culture has this become normal? This has become normal because being poor has become normal. There are more Americans now living in poverty. There's more child poverty now than there's probably been since the Great Depression. It's a normal thing in America now. America is falling behind and its people have been left behind. In the managerial class, the bureaucratic class, they're just completely out of touch with Americans. I recently read an article on USA Today, and they're saying it's starting to look bad for poor Americans. But the fact is, who are the poor Americans? Because it's a majority now. The middle class has been erased. All you have now is upper middle class, upper middle class, and upper class, and the poors, the thrifts, people like us. And though we can look at inflation rates, we can look at wages have gone up slightly, but we are still feeling the great impacts of what we've seen happen over the past 4 and 5 years. With the rapid, obscene printing of money, we've seen the devaluation of the US dollar to the point where America has essentially lost its position as global economic hegemon. The BRICS countries are coming.
This is why you have to know data. This is why you have to know data. The average American is working 32 hours a week. The average American is working 32 hours a week. That's why I love when Diamond Dave, I'm going to figure out how to make his title hit, because the highest paid part-time job, people are looking for part-time jobs because the average American works 32 hours a week. This is a myth that people are working these 40, 50, 60 hours. Those are people with multiple jobs. Those are people with multiple jobs. This is where your emotion is making this stuff up. The average American and the average woman in America, and that's under 50,000, is working 18 hours a week. Where is the 18 hours a week coming from? Moms who can't work a full-time job, moms who have little children, moms who pull part-time work. Moms are working under 18 hours a week on average. I had a friend who worked for a church. She only worked Sunday all day, and she worked Thursday, Friday, because she had to work in the little kids, like getting the room ready, getting the pamphlets, getting all that stuff ready. The rest of her week, she was taking kids back and forth. That's not true. 80 hours a week is not what the average American is working. It's not. Oh man, you real late, but oh well. Thank you for hitting the like button when you come in. But I want y'all to understand this is where people are saying this is like the average American's working 32 hours a week. This is incorrect. Okay. And then on top of that, the BRICS is dead, y'all. The BRICS is dead. Let me just go there. There's several articles you can Google on BRICS is dead. Now, why am I saying the BRICS is dead? Brazil, India, and South Africa cannot play the China game. China can play chicken with us all day because they own a bunch of our debt. Okay, they can do whatever they want. China can do whatever it wants. China is digging into Mexico. China's digging into other areas. China's investing all over Africa. But Brazil is in hyperinflation and been in hyperinflation for 3 years now. Actually, 4. India right now is begging for America to let more of them in. When Kamala said we need 500,000 Indians, people are like, wait a minute, Kamala, 500,000? Who said that? Who said we need 500,000 Indians? Because if you do the math, every one of them bring about 12 people with them. It's called chain migration. You can look it up for yourself. Okay. No. This is why the travel nurses be wore out. Because they'll do 6 months and they got like, I'm taking 3 months off. So again, your hospital short staff, all this stuff, but BRICS is dead on arrival. South Africa and them can't play like that. I laugh when people start talking about BRICS. I'm like, BRICS is dead. All Trump can't put 100% tariffs on China, but he can put 100% tariffs on Brazil. He could put 100% tariff. Now, what did the country say in response? Well, we're going to start revoking American visas. No, you're not. No, you're not. Because you need the tourism money. Everybody in BRICS is like, please come to India. Please come to South Africa. Please come to Brazil. We need the money. When they did the Olympics out there, they had bodies in the water. They had all kind of crazy stuff. When people start talking to me about BRICS, I already know they don't know what the hell they're talking about. I already know. They don't know what they're talking about. Now, China is buying up a lot of gold. That's a whole nother conversation. But that's a whole nother conversation. Because China know, like, look, gold is still money. I don't know what y'all talking about. Let me finish this real quick, and I'm going to get out of here.
Up. There are the rising power. What's America going to do? Because with lack of policy, we'll see what the tariffs are going to do. In the long run, I hope the tariffs work. I hope they do something, because something is better than nothing. Because nothing means that they keep spending, they keep using, they keep abusing the population to get what they need to push their agenda, while at the same time burying us in a position where people need to take debt just to meet the cost of living. Because the average household income now, even in places like Kentucky, average household income doesn't meet the cost of living. So for all those people out there that say the solution is to move to the rural areas, that may be the case. You may be able to find a cheaper home, but the fact is there's not going to be any jobs there. I spent 8 or 9 years in West Virginia. I love West Virginia. It's a beautiful place. Reality is poverty there is crippling. Yes, you can buy a home for cheap, but guess what? Good luck finding a job where you can meet those mortgage payments on the wages that you'll be receiving, because not everybody wants to be a coal miner. And you're like, well, you just have to do what you have to do. You're lazy. If you think it's normal that you need to work in a coal mine to make ends meet, you have gone back 100, 200 years in thinking.
Okay, immediately I got to stop him there. His channel's blowing up. He's not getting subscribers, but YouTube algorithm is pushing him. If you look at his stuff, 40,000 views. You go right here, hit the most popular. 260,000 views, 137,000 views. 130. So what it is people are feeling a certain way. What's the point in working? Americans are trapped. And so even his thing is he comes to America to work for 6 months and then can spend a month or two away, then comes back and works some more and then come up. You know what I mean? Like even he's not living with what he's saying. And then he gets to Greece and he complains. He goes to Greece and complains. He goes to Turkey and complains. Everywhere this man go, he complains. You know, you think black people complain? No, white people will go somewhere and complain, baby. I go over there. Turkey's weird. Like, just like people literally say every Americans complain too much. Yes. He's like, I'm an immigrant now after moving back. You were gone for 3 months, bro. Stop. Knock it off. This is the problem when you have Americans go somewhere for 2 months. I live abroad. And then if you actually read, this is his house that he owns. He's back in it. You know, it just, it's comedy. Oh, wait, y'all couldn't see the screen. Dag on it. Hold on. Let me go back. So sorry. Here you go. Sorry, my bad. Here you go. I went like this and I did most popular. This is them pushing him. Again, you think Americans complain. Look, Turkey sucks. Greece is crazy. Greece is weird. Problem with Greece. Like, again, the complaining doesn't stop. The complaining doesn't stop. Yes, I'm a passport bro. And he only goes for a few months. It's like, bro, you don't even be over there like that. Stop fronting. You don't be over there like that. Stop fronting. There are plenty of people. Okay, you get your little older Turkish woman. Okay, fine, great. But you don't be over there like that. Stop it. Cut it out. Just like I showed y'all in the comment section, a black boy went over to Japan, was dating this woman that was 5 to 7 years older than him, divorced. And then he married her in less than 7 months. You're like, when people know, they know her. If your son, black son in America, picked up a black woman 5 to 7 years older than him that had already been divorced and moved in with her and was decided and married her in 7 months, you would be throwing rocks through her window. You would be raising hell. She knows what she's doing. That's why whenever I have these videos where somebody is a 33-year-old man talking to somebody real young, and y'all be like, well, you sometimes no, you know, cut it out. You know, you got to knock it off. Cut it out. It's crazy. There you go. I was lost in the doom narrative for years. I understand now that things got hard. It stopped being easy. Complaining. And he got a baby on it. Listen, you already know. You already know. Oh, watch out. What's up? So let me get out of here. Let me get out of here. But y'all can go look at his channel on your own. You can go watch the sad stories on your own. Here's another one. I'm going to do sad farm and then I'm going to do sad man again. Sorry. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do sad farm first and then sad man. Here we go.
It, meaning food stamps, are a subsidy to Walmart and candy companies, charging the government $4 for an ounce of corn syrup. Okay, I understand where you're coming from here. So this was on a video where I was saying, do folks in America not realize that food stamps and WIC and other programs like that for needy families, for hungry people, that those are actually USDA agricultural subsidies? And so when farmers vote against handouts, when conservative Republican farmers voted for Donald Trump, voted for gutting these programs and love to judge hungry folks, call them welfare queens, with how they love to rage against socialism, that those folks are shooting themselves in the foot, because in wanting to do away with or cut back these programs, they are ensuring that the subsidies that keep their farms going, those go away. We are watching America's farmers in the heartland start to wake up to the reality that their support of Donald Trump might cost them their farms. I'm frankly surprised they don't remember all of the farmers who went out of business during the first Trump administration. It was a lot, soybean farmers especially. Like, I understand the point that this person is making, right? Walmart, which is just a terrible predatory business on purpose, pays their employees so little that they will qualify for food stamps, right? They pay them exploitive wages and they rely on America's agricultural subsidy program to fund their profit margin, right? We are not going to pay our families, our employees a...
Okay, listen. She is the stereotypical live in Oregon complainer. Let me stop there. Now, let me show you her page so that, you know, again, also, I meant this. Thank you for this $10 super chat. The more the internet, like YouTube, keep going, more higher barrier entry it'll become, because the payout to the masses is going to get lower to allocate resources to preferred groups. Yes, this is true. This is true. But a lot of people make money selling you doom. Listen, you already know, but I'm gonna go there. Let me go up here. This is her page. So I always I don't want y'all to be thinking I'm just bashing people and not show you their page. So she runs a family farmette on 1/4 acre in Portland, Oregon. There's a lot I can say about that. I'm gonna leave it alone. Now, if you go on here, she's making money complaining. Not about farming, complaining. DI. Yeah, listen, every farm under a certain size knows their job is to sell to businesses and people, right? There's a whole industry of people making money off farmers by teaching them, this is how we sell locally. This is how we get local people to buy our stuff, community supported agriculture, all that stuff. What you have is a lot of people leaving the city and then they I'm gonna do a farm, and they don't know how to sell to people. And then they're like, well, I thought I could sell to the government. I thought I could sell to grocery stores. Like, what are you talking about? So again, she's very left, again, upset, going off about Elon. If you're a farmer and you're getting millions of dollars in subsidy, you know that has always been questionable. It won't last. There's a lot I can say about that. That's not many farmers. When you hear somebody has like 100 cows or 40 cows and they got a small farm, you're like, having 40 cows won't make you money. Like the friend I have that has a farm in Louisiana, if he sells direct to consumer, he'll make all the money in the world. Hey, you put up an ad, hey, I'm a black farmer, I got this farm, yada, yada, yada. You'll make all the money in the world. You'll make all the money in the world because you only need a certain amount of people. And this is what people don't want to do. They don't want to learn ads. They just want to farm. They don't want to pay anybody to do anything. All this requires you to pay somebody. Right? She's talking about mulberries. Okay. Like that's only a certain group of people she's gonna be able to sell mulberries to, and bush beans. You can go look at her page, but I just want you to understand it's like she makes the most money complaining. Again, complaining is how she makes the money. All right, let's just go there. That's how you make the money. Come on, you already know. All right, let me go. This is another sad man. I'm sorry. I hope I'm not depressing you. The sad man content, but somebody has to show it to you. I'm so sorry. Sad man content. Oh Lord, where's that? Okay. Oh, there it is. I found it. Okay. I have too many things open. Okay, y'all ready? Hold yourself.
Welcome back, tribe. Today's episode is focused on like the midlife crisis. We're covering one on the main channel, which was a guy pretty much talking about how he'd been through years of the grind, years and years, waking up doing the same thing over and over again until honestly, you find out like, hey, 10, 20 years have passed. Who am I? What's happening with my life? The quiet desperation that so many guys are living under. And I just wanted to spell it out for you. As you get older, I'm in my mid 30s now, 35, and the conversation actually changes, believe it or not. As you get older, it's not the same when you're in your 20s, Death hits different when you're pushing 40. Not the abstract concept you brushed off in your 20s, but the cold reality that slaps you across the face when you're standing at your parents' funeral or, when the first health scare knocks on your door. Suddenly you're staring at your ceiling and it's 3 a.m. You're calculating how many summers you got left, wondering why your back hurts from just sleeping wrong. And then you realize somehow 2 decades of your adult life vanished while you're busy being everything to everyone except yourself, and this isn't just about buying a Porsche or chasing some 25-year-old Instagram model. Those are the sitcom versions. The reality cuts deeper, dude. When you wake up one morning and you realize you spent your entire fucking life being the good son, the reliable employee, the stable husband, and the present father. You're checking every box society handed to you, played every role assigned to you, and somewhere along the way, you lost the...
Listen, I want y'all to understand, I am sympathetic to people. I know y'all think, Erica, you're being mean. Listen, I get it. But guess what? Having children, being married, who told you it was a fun fest? There is a level of service to being a child, to being a parent, to being a husband. It's to being a wife. Like when I hear these women complain, I'm like, girl, you got a whole husband. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, girl? You got a whole husband. Even if he don't help you with the kids, is them lights paid? Is there groceries in the refrigerator? You almost have to get real kind of basic survival mode on them. Like, does he beat you? He ain't beating you. All right. Well, what's the problem? And I know you're gonna say, Erica, that's it's got to be more to life. I know it is, but I just want you to understand when I talk about planning life, when I talk about trips, and thank God I'm with somebody who wants to go overseas. They don't like Japanese food, but they're gonna try some Japanese food. Like I can experience that with that person. I'm like, thank you, God. I just know some people in their 40s, their husband don't want to go nowhere. He don't want to do nothing. Shit, at least mine take the 2-stepping and go dancing and we'll go some places. You have to be able to realize once you hit 35, if you're 35 this depressed, you need to get some therapy. 1, 2. 2, you also need some, you might want to check your blood level, your testosterone levels. You might want to check those for real though. Because there's a lot of women, same thing. You need to check your levels. You need to check your vitamin D. You need to check all of it because that might be why you're feeling this way. But also, life is service. Some part of your life is service. Like when people talk about these jobs, I want these high-paying jobs. The reason people call them golden handcuffs, they don't want to be there either. A job is work. You know, take it up with Adam and Eve, take it up with Cain and Abel. I don't know. You know, what do you want me to tell you? Like, to some degree, work is not fun, right? Like, even doing YouTube, I find it fun. It can be tiresome, right? Doing events are fun for me, but they're tiresome. Putting on the event, hyping up the event for 6 months, just for people to be in my comments like, oh, Erica, you're having an event? I didn't hear about it. I've been talking about it for 6 months. That's why I'm big on paid traffic, because organic, you'll still get people every day going, you're having an event? That's interesting. I quit looking at those people. I literally am like, run paid traffic. Same thing when the guy told me what his price was for the e-com stuff to take over and do YouTube and TikTok for me and all that stuff. I said, look, I got to pay it because I'm tired. You can have it. What's the total again? Let me go get you some money. Let me go get your money. Because what you realize is people play this game like, oh, I didn't know. Oh my God, this is happening. Oh, you had a free training. Like all that stuff. I'll be done with it. I'll be so done with it. So done. And then these same people be like, I haven't seen my parents all year. You couldn't plan one in a year in advance. You couldn't plan to fly home to your parents on a $200 flight. Well, I've got kids. Well, you already knew that. You knew you had kids. What are you talking about? Right? So this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. This is why you're having such a dichotomy, a big splice between the millennials that have children, that don't have children, millennials that have high paying jobs and can go to conferences and music events. They're having a blast. It's an experience economy. People like this is what they're going through. But let me finish. It's very tiresome. It'll wear your heart out.
It's a script to your own story. You did everything right. Straight A's in school because mom and dad expected it. Practical degree because that's what responsible people do. The safe career path. And you got the marriage, the mortgage, the minivan. You got the whole template for the successful life. You became the guy everyone relies on. The one who shows up early, the one who stays late, the one who coaches the little league weekends and still makes it to every recital. You're the responsible one, the dependable one, the fucking adult in the room. Then one day you're sitting in traffic, the same route you've driven for 15 years, and it hits you. When was the last time you did something because you wanted to, not because it was expected?
And this is at Cabo. I know because I've been on that side of that beach. Or if you look over the mountains on the other side, this is Cabo. But I'm gonna keep it pushing.
Not because it was responsible, but because it lit a fire in your soul. You can't remember. That's when the panic sets in.
If you drive over to well, it could be. This is Playa de Carmen. And that over there is, unless this is Thailand. Hold on, let me look. No, it might be Thailand. Yeah. But if you go to Mexico and you see those rocks right there, that's like Cabo has those rocks, that mountain formation. And then you go to the other side of Playa de Carmen, it looks like this. Ask, Kamoy. Kamoy be living down there in Mexico all the time. She can tell you, but it's very similar. That's why I'm not gonna be funny with y'all. But if you go to multiple beaches, after a while, the stuff starts to look the same. You're like, I've been there before. You're like, oh wait, that's a different place. I'm just being very honest with y'all. If you start going out here, you'll see it. I'm a comment to this. Hold on.
Not the heart racing, sweat dripping kind, the quiet kind that sits in your chest like a stone. And it whispers that you've spent decades building a life that looks perfect on paper, but it feels empty in practice. Society calls this the midlife crisis, like it's some temporary malfunction, a glitch in the matrix that'll sort itself out if you just keep grinding. But this isn't a crisis. It's an awakening. It's a brutal recognition that you've been running a marathon with no finish line. You're collecting these trophies that mean nothing to you, living a life designed by a committee. You start to notice it in other men too. The distant look in their eyes during the meetings, the way they linger a bit too long in their car after work, how they talk about their teenager's college fund while their hands are gripping that beer super tight. They're all feeling it, man. This slow burning realization that they've mastered the art of delayed gratification so completely that gratification isn't even on the menu anymore. It's like you're playing a video game, grinding through levels, accumulating achievements, only to realize that you never actually enjoyed playing. You got really good at it. Like really fucking good.
Okay, I can't. That's enough. I can't. I need Bo to chill out. That's enough. And Bo's whole thing is make masculinity great again. If that's masculinity, you can keep it. And there is men he's speaking to. This is important. Listen, I'm a middle child and I felt everything of what he just said. I'm gonna be very honest. I felt everything what he said. I felt everything what he said. I was a middle child. I'm doing the right thing. My older brother's getting in trouble with the police. My younger sister's acting crazy. I'm the middle child. I'm doing all the rules. I'm following the rules. I'm helping my family. I'm doing this. I'm making money. And you look up and you're like, wait a minute, right? If you ever want to read the Bible and really read it, the prodigal son. When the prodigal son comes back, the other brother's like, I've been here working, slaving, being a good son, daddy, and you ain't threw me no party. And the daddy be like, well, did you ask for a party? You could have a party every day. What do you want? And you have to realize this is, I was that person. I was like, but mama, I've been helping. I've been doing this. And I realized, no, if you want to travel, you want to go, you want to do, you book it. You want to be whatever, you book it. I have a cousin. They finally got to that realization at 50. They've been the good cousin, the good daughter. They done every, and I don't have many girl cousins. I have like 20 boy cousins and 4 girl cousins. So it's literally very thin. So the girls in our family have been very disciplined, and it's like, she woke up finally and she done traveled. I got an aunt that's has no children, right? And people be like, oh, what these ladies gonna do when they get old with no children? Travel. My aunt done retired from 2 different companies, got 2 different pensions. She going to Greece with some ladies. She went to Brazil with some older ladies. They going to Dubai with some older ladies from church. Them little old church ladies get out. Don't get it twisted. But you have to choose. Now, would it have been better if my aunt did it when she was younger? Her knees and back don't hurt? For sure. I advocate for everybody to get a sabbatical life. I even advocate when people tell me they take a baby moon. I don't know if y'all know what that is. Baby moon is like right before the baby comes, they just go because it's the last time it's just them two and they have some good sleep. Baby moon. Okay. And then there's some people who do like little, you have to decide when you're gonna go. Listen, when I tell y'all this January, when I lost my grandpa, I felt that, you know what, F it, I'll go. I'm out. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go for a month and be overseas. I had to calm down. I said, you got one project you gotta do. You do this little project, and then guess what? April, May, June, kiss the dogs, eh? That's what my grandma used to say. Kiss the dogs, eh? I ain't gotta do nothing. Once you got your stuff in order, hey, I'm taking a spiritual break, taking a medication break. You know what I'm saying? You just have to decide. And that's why I feel bad about people who don't take breaks, right? My church friend 85 still traveling. My male cousins aren't doing well. Only a couple have their heads straight. Yeah, by the time a lot of these, that's why this whole kind of fantasy, if you're a black man, you can wait till you're 50 and 60 to get married. They dropping dead. There's 10 YouTubers, black men, drop dead. You got one dude talking about he's a body game, and he had a stroke. You're like, baby, what body game? You can barely walk now. What are you talking about? So you have to understand, like, if you don't make the time, it ain't gonna happen. 9 out of a male cut. God, dog, Jamal. What happened, Jamal? We needed some more whoopings over there. Listen, here's the thing. Mexico, it ain't all Sicario. Let me be very clear. Cabo's still good. But them other parts, other than Cancun, I wouldn't right now. Just being honest. Because I was getting ready. I just told my boo, I said, let's just go to Cabo for like 5 days. And they were like, I think you're just having a bad day. I'm like, I am, but I still want to go. That's the problem when you do have money. You're like, I just want to go. And so you got to really you got to decide, it has to be planning, right? Some of this stuff you have to do in a planning type of matter. I'm making all that noise in the hallway. Mexico City jumping. I know it's jumping. Did I miss somebody else? Too many people are trying to find purpose in money and material things, trying to keep up with the Joneses. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. He lacks purses. I get it. A lot of us thought we would just happen for us. A lot of us didn't think we had to take responsibility for ourselves. Yes, that's the key word. Like, if I want it, if I want to be happy, I gotta do it. I gotta step up, and that's what's happening right now. That's what's happening right now for a lot of people. Listen, when somebody tells me body game, I'm thinking, okay, you fit, you muscular. AM1 can pull that conversation. AM1's a 6 foot plus tall man. Photography, lifting weights, he can pull that conversation. But if you're 5'9" and a little chubby, you knock it off, cut it out. Body game. What body game? You just had a stroke. Then there's another dude talking body game, and when people actually saw him, he was walking with a cane. Y'all know me, brothers I've met from online. Oh, I don't want to be messy, but I want to. And I met them, and I thought, man, I hope they all right. Like, I'm talking about walking with canes, broke down. I'm like, you only 40 something, baby. What happened? It's bad out here, y'all. Y'all think I'm joking? Okay, the last example. Let me go back to the original thing. Okay, this couple right here, and y'all hear me talk about them a lot right here. Again, one of those people. They're a couple. They were a police officer and they were a mom. They're like, we want to start over.
Every year we have just built challenging because our whole
they went out and they bought a big old piece of land, built a place up. And guess what? They kept saying, oh my God, our older daughter's leaving. We're feeling lost. We don't know what's next. And then pop up, she's pregnant. I already knew that was going to happen because now you got the money, you can make the content. You need something to keep y'all in common. Because these other kids are getting older and they don't care about none of this. They just be building random stuff. They be like, why are you building this? Well, again, it's content. It's all content. Needing something to do. Husband needs something to do. Content. Because they had started traveling and meeting people at meetups. And what you'll learn as a creator, when you start meeting some of these people at these meetups, you'll be like, oh, they crazy. Some of these people is crazy. I got some weirdo-ness today. Weirdo. Okay. Certified lover boy, certified. Wop. I just wanted to say that Kendrick Lamar got me in a chokehold and I'm fighting for my life. Where my other thing at? Okay, I found it. All right, let me get to it and I'm gonna show y'all this other part. Because this is very important. I gotta get back to it though. Okay, here it is. 41. 41. Let me get to it. Oh, you're trying to show some. Boom, there it is. Okay, let me show you my screen. Has this been helpful? Are you guys enjoying this? You drop a 1 in the comments if you like. If not, it's all good. It ain't hurt my feelings. I hope it's been helpful. I just want to do this massive breakdown. As I pivot to what I'm pivoting to, again, I showed y'all that chart. I hope you understand what's happening. It's hard. I'm just telling y'all, like, I see it. I'm like, okay, got it. It seems like many people are just looking for others to step in as an extension of being their new parent. Ooh, I had a feeling you referred to them in the last video. Baby, I stay referring to them and several other people. Because once they get it, they're like, okay, what do we do now? Because that really wasn't their dream. Their dream was just like, we need a break from LA. And the cost, it's dangerous and it's costly. Well, now your children, your daughters are 18. And the only thing you can do is stay here. That's what you're doing. Look, we having a baby. Want to hang out with the baby son? It's like, no, she's gone. She grown. She out of here. All right, so here we go. And again, it's not the money, it's the mood. This is from The Compound. I think this is the best, hands down video they've ever done. And if you hear that from me, that's a lot. And this guy is, again, if you don't know who this guy is, he's like, do you remember Robin Leach back in the day? This is Robert Frank. And he basically is the more sophisticated Robin Leach. Let me show you the lifestyles of the rich and famous. Like, he really does math and breakdowns and family office conversations. And like, when I sat through somebody's training, he was actually in there. And I'm telling you, the 0 to 10 mil, some of these people are doing it in a year. And then they're like, what do I do? But let me just go here.
We're going to do holistic, whatever. Okay, how do you get paid? And if the answer is, well, it's complicated, and then somebody's like, you're the only person who pays me. That, like, for me,
yeah.
And that's why we set up the business the way that we did.
Right.
For me, if you can look someone in the eye and say, you're my only payer.
Yeah.
I can't get paid by anyone.
Yeah.
I can't send your money somewhere for a rebate.
And then explain to them what your incentives for getting paid
sure,
are. And that helps too. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the wealth effect.
So Robert, Josh is a big wealth effect guy.
Okay.
And
I think it explains everything.
Okay. I think that the level of spending has less to do necessarily with the value of real estate or what your cash is paying or what your 401k is. I think it's the economy, which is maybe sort of saying the same thing, but it's like, if Americans have a job, they will spend all their money.
Yeah.
I think it's as simple as that.
There going back to richest 10, there are 2 economies, or probably like 5. But to Josh's point, and I was a believer. I continue
He's
to be.
only allowed to know about the first 2.
Yeah.
Okay, immediately pause. I don't want to break up his good conversation, but when I keep telling you, his whole conversation is the rich have a whole nother country in America they're living in. Like they in a whole nother, like boats and yachts, and like, what are you talking about? Like they're having a whole thing. Okay. So yes, are there 5 economies? Yes, I would love to do another show with Diamond Dave and us break down the 5 economies, but we don't have time right now. Today, I don't have time. But I want you to understand, me and you will go rich and poor. No, it's like so many levels to this. It's working poor. It's a whole like what we call the massive middle. And then there's these people, and I just told y'all the super millennials, like it's gonna go to the sky. And this is the K-shaped recovery. All this stuff, right? So I'm gonna finish playing this clip, and then I'm gonna make a comment in a second because I know it's gonna. Let me finish it.
What's the third? I wasn't listening.
There are 5 economies. I'll tell you about 2 of them.
Yeah. I've written about the wealth effect. I believe in it, but I believe in it because it relates to the people I cover. Now, most Americans get their wealth and their consumer confidence from 2 things: their income and their house. Mostly their income. Until you get to the top like 10%, that's where asset values and the stock market start. Now, the reason the wealth effect is probably more pronounced today than it has been in the past is because the wealthy account for the top 10%, as you've reported and repeated, own about 87% of the stocks.
It's a K-shaped economy.
It's a K-shaped.
Did you notice any pullback in 2022 of these mega wealthy spending?
100%.
Really? Okay.
Okay.
So
I'll
tell me
give you
more.
some examples. The art market went into a recession.
In 22.
In 22.
Because the NASDAQ
It was a little
fell.
bit delayed. It was a little bit delayed because the big art sales are planned 6 months in advance. But it started to happen in the back half of 22 and certainly happened in 23. Classic car market, the art market.
Rolexes.
The Rolexes crashed in price. And now some people in the watch market was highly correlated to crypto. A lot of the guys in watches were crypto. So that was kind of related, but that's what happened there. The art market was interesting. Partly because it wasn't so much that the stock market, because the stock market did so well in 23. I was like, what the hell? That doesn't make any sense. It was because interest rates were so high, the opportunity cost of then buying a painting versus putting it in 5% risk-free was competition.
Yeah.
But what happened in 2022 is all these collectibles markets went into the tank. Now, real estate was very location specific. But real estate started to suffer a little bit as well at the very high end. Look, I always say,
let me go here. I want to make sure you heard that. I really want y'all to hear that. Okay. I want you to understand. And as soon as I saw this person make this comment, I want you to understand, Cooler J, if you make over 70,000 a year and you own a house, there is no recession for you. I don't think y'all understand what I'm trying to convey to you as I'm out here and as I'm going to these events and as I'm studying. When I say there's no recession for you, we left 1971 to a asset-based economy. When you hear all these brothers, it's falling, it's going to crash, the stock market's going to crash, everything's going to crash, the housing's going to crash. Listen, I want you to hear me and hear me well. Please hear me. Again, what are the 3 ways is the solution to this whole thing? Starting business, investing your money, buying assets, investing in stocks. I really want you to hear me. And this is why I'm kind of leaving the, hey, make money online space or make money. Like I'm pivoting away because I realize there's a sea of people. They're about 10 years behind. And there's nothing wrong with that sea of people. There's nothing wrong with you guys learning how to make money online. There's nothing wrong, but I don't want to stay there anymore because I've already outgrown that. Right? I know it's possible. I know it's all manifestation. I know it's a few budget items. I'm telling you, when I saw influencers buy houses, when I saw people going to Florida buying a $250,000, $280,000 house, and they're making all their content from their room, or I saw people in Nashville buying houses, and I see those content influencers now, their numbers are lower, but they straight. Like I literally, there's a real estate guy. I wish I could tell his business because he was super sweet and telling me all the information. He literally, when the real estate was tight and there was like kind of nowhere for him to move, his fourplex went up to $1 million in value in Chicago. So he said, what can I do in the meantime? He deep dived with one of our stock friends, paid big money to listen to him, and he be churning out. Like he'll show little screenshots. He'll churn out about 3,000 to 10,000 a week out of the stock market. And if you pay attention, he's not even talking about real estate. He's just chilling, right? Because most people in 2025, if you have not gotten into real estate or you're not convinced on real estate, 2025 is a hold year. Now, what do I mean hold? If you're a builder, you're building slow or you're only building small multifamily because you know you can sell it to somebody in California, New York, Chicago. You're building slow or you know you got to offer. I was on a call and all the builders on the call were kind of like crying about the fact that they had to offer to buy down the rate. Let me be very clear. If I build a house for 140 and I'm selling it to you for 340, I'm still going to make 200,000. So if I buy down the rate, I got to put 20K with the lender, say, hey, look, man, really, we'll buy that rate down. We'll buy it down to 3%. So they can feel like they got over on us in the conversation. Okay. I still walk away 180 on that house. Do you understand it? So if I build 4 in a year, if I build 5 in a year, I'm at $1 million. So yeah, I may have lost some money building out. That's why when you see all these crash videos and they're like, the houses are crashing. They're showing you houses in Florida that went up to 480,000 and then they come down to 440 or they come down to 390. Did it really crash? If somebody went to Florida in 2020 and bought it for 280 and it's still 330 and 440 when they sell it, did it crash? Did it crash? I really want y'all to understand that like we've moved to an asset-based economy. And so one of the videos I said slow, I call people slow and somebody said, Erica, that's disrespectful. You're right. It's disrespectful for me to call people slow. It's very disrespectful. And I apologize because when I do my content, I get it. People are just learning, just finding this stuff out. No problem. But I'm telling you, it's in your face. It's been in your face 10 years. If you keep choosing to go be on pop the balloon channels and goofy comments and people whining as a man or as a woman, and realize that if you make over 70K a year in America, right, you're just beating over the middle, the massive middle, but you live a whole different America. That's why when they're talking about $10 million, which is good that they talk about it here, but just making over 70,000 to 150,000, I literally had friends I sat at dinner with and I would talk about my students that I was helping make 40,000 and they did this. They're like, how are people living on 40,000? I'm like, go to any school, ask a school teacher. Go to any EMT worker, ask them. I mean, there's a ton of people in America living off 40 and 50,000 a year because you don't know them. It sounds crazy, right? And so when you make over 70 to 150,000 a year, it's real repetitive. Once you got the house, you know, and you got maybe a car that you really like, you're just investing. Like there's a guy, his whole blog was he was living in Austin and he was like, oh, I'll sell my house in Austin, walk away 200,000. And then he went up to Cincinnati, Ohio, because his mom was there. Let's just go there. His mom was there and older. That's how most people get there, the Midwest, back to the Midwest. And he bought up 10 rentals. You know what I'm saying? He literally has a whole different life. And so I just want y'all to understand that once you start e-commerce or business, or you start some type of middleman in millions, when you go in these rooms with these people, they're not the brightest, they're not the smartest, they're not the most special. But I promise you, they're just consistent. They're just consistent. That's it. It's not a lot. Yeah, some of these people parents helping them, but and even on the Rolex watch thing, because the Rolex watches had such a crash, it caught 3 or 4 white dudes, and they're gonna be on American Greed because they're going to jail. They was running around, you know, fake flipping these watches. So no, for Erica Williams is my definition. When they talk about a K-shaped recovery, every time I say, if you make over 70,000 or you own a house, you're not in a recession. You won't experience a recession. If you're making under 70K and you're feeling the tight strings, I'm going to ask you, what are you invested in? Even the little Gen Z kids are invested in the stock market. Again, all these people that's supposed to retire and then their 50s and 60s don't have no stocks. What they gonna do? They don't have no retirement, so they're gonna have to do what? Buy rentals. If they can't buy rentals, they're gonna have to buy a business. That's why this conversation about buying businesses is so hot online right now, because these people don't have no retirement. They make a lot of money, but they can't retire ever because that's how they make their money. So please, for the love of God, let the recession talk go, because I see people just stand on the sidelines like, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. I'm like, oh, baby. Like in 10 years, we're going to look back and be like, I'm so sorry. What happened to you? They're going to be gone. They're going to be in the left behinds. That's why Mel Robbins wrote a book about Let Them. Really what she's saying in that book is some of your friends are going to get left behind. Let them. That's all she was saying. You making money, you focus, let them. They're going to be broke. That's really what she's saying. She's trying to be nice about it, but she's not. Let me see if I pull this other part. Let me see. Where is it at? 45.
It's, for the wealthy, it's not about the money, it's the mood. They always have the money.
The desire to spend it is
it's
different.
The confidence that is highly correlated. So when I worked at the Wall Street Journal, they were like, okay, you're going to cover, where do you want to sit? I said, I want to sit where I always sat, in the money and investing section, in the markets groups, because the markets group is where my people, it's how they feel every day, because they're so tied to the stock market. Even if they have a private company, they're going to look at the values of similar companies or their investments. So I think that the wealth
you want
effect,
to be right next to Jason's wig.
Exactly.
And
Jason's awesome. He's the best. He's the best. He thought I was hilarious. He's great. I love the show you do with him. But
absolutely.
But so I think the wealth effect is important for the most important group of consumers and investors right now. The top 20% account for over half the spending. That's probably even more true today with inflation than it was before. But if you look at, there is no such thing as the economy, which is why, and one of the reasons I started Inside Wealth is because it's irrelevant what the economy is doing.
Do you think there used to be an economy?
More of it, yeah. In the 50s and 60s, there was certainly, we all rose together.
Less stratified.
We all rose together.
I agree with you.
But so if the rich people pull back spending, does the economy even feel it? Or is it like segmented to their Richistan or wherever?
What's the general economy more correlated to, the bottom or the top?
Bottom.
It's more correlated to the bottom right now. But there's
so again, did you hear what he just said? I want to walk it back a second. Top 20% spend like 80%. Like when I tell you I'm in Austin and you go to the Asian restaurants, you go to the Indian restaurants, you go to the Domain, it's Asians and Indians spending, living well, buying bags, chilling. Who's working in those places? You fill in the blanks for yourself, right? So again, people like me, because I know my back and how I feel and my health, I'm going to still keep a personal trainer. I'm going to still get a massage on Fridays. I'm going to still go do a facial once a month. I'm still going to spend that money because I need to. Why? It's for me to be able to think, be able to run my companies, be able to go, all right, like the most critical thing I was able to do in January was think. And that sounds crazy, but when I talk to people, they're like, I'm just so busy, the kids' life, they like act like they can't think. That's my most valuable thing I did in January, was mourn my grandfather and think and say, okay, this is what happens this year. We've already had this massive plan for trips, for music concerts, for conferences. This is how we think. And these 1 or 2 steps takes us out off the board of the game and we're done. And we can go do whatever, right? And I could have always done whatever. It's a mindset thing. But when people talk to me about recessions, I'm like, oh, they already drank the Kool-Aid. This is the easiest country in the world. You're not going to go anywhere else and it'd be easier. Cheaper? Yes. You want to go sit in Mexico for cheap? Sure. Where are you getting your money from? Where are you working for pesos? You're not working for pesos. You're not working for pesos. You're going to Venezuela, you're going to Colombia, you're not working for their money. Get real and get real fast. This is the one country where you can come in. Hey man, I'm gonna put 20K over here. That's why there was a video of the girl from Peru. Her parents are down, bad in shape. She paid $26,000 to a particular type of mule to get her there safe to America. And then America was like, oh yeah, we're gonna round you up with ICE. And she's devastated because she's like, I have to pay this money back regardless. I needed to be in America. Now, $26,000 in the United States is somebody working at Taco Bell, Chipotle for the year, not even full time. She's doing 26,000 for her life. Like, I need this to live so I can send money back to Peru to my family, to my parents, because they're both disabled. Y'all have to realize when you're in other countries, you work or your family takes care of you. You work because your family has a business or you don't. Parts of Africa look great. There's parts of Africa. If your parents don't own a business, you don't work. Simple as that. You don't work. You don't work. Why do you think African ladies are risking their life going to the Middle East and Dubai to work as nannies, where people are beating the crap out of them, hitting them over the head, killing them? It's crazy. There's a ton of expat videos with that, saying, oh, I went over here and I hate it, or this or that. Again, America's just as dysfunctional as anywhere else. We just have a cool system that you could be a third grader and make it here. That's all. So, I'm gonna show one more part and I'm gonna wrap it up because it's gone long. So I'm telling you, your whole mindset. I do a 90-minute massage. I'm literally going into outer space, thinking of stuff for my companies and my business. I'm literally going into outer space, like, oh yeah, if I do that, I can do this. Oh yeah, if I just pay that guy, I'll be done. Like, I don't care, Exactly. Nomad capitalist, every single video, he still talks about the United States. You can tell he doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't even want to be on camera anymore, but he can't because that is how his business makes money. And so even he's on a hamster wheel, he don't even want to be on it. Boy, I get mad when I hear Nomad capital because I'd be like, bro, you doing stuff you don't even want to do. Get out of here. It was imperative that I got in tech. I'm definitely not feeling a recession, that's for sure. You have to know how to pivot. You do. I'm telling you, Ant Dog, if you take a weekend or two and look at them houses in parts of Houston, man, people buying houses for $300,000. Next year, the whole neighborhood is worth $500,000. It's crazy. It's insane. And this is what's going to happen, Jasmine Tukes. Most people are going to go lower living or higher responsibility. Lower living, they're going to be like, here's my garden off of my apartment balcony. Here's how I, do Pilates in my living room. They're going to figure out how to lower their cost of living and be more relaxed. But it's because they cannot, or they have not mentally figured out, let me go up higher. But this is huge, okay? The only difference between you and rich women is this: massages, exercise. Let me finish this little part and get out of here.
Certain parts of the economy that are correlated to the top.
But these things can't exist independent of each other. In other words, you're not getting rising wages at the bottom.
For instance,
unless the wealthy are spending money.
Right. That's right. Now, look, you say the wealthy. The wealthy are spending at Costco, right? We know that Costco and Walmart too, they're getting a higher share. So it's not just that LVMH or Hermes are the measure of what's happening. The wealthy spend in lots of different ways, and it's going to take a horrific situation if the wealthy stop spending at Costco and Walmart. But I think they spend all along the chain. But just in terms of raw numbers, and the marginal propensity to spend, which is the idea that when each dollar that comes into the wealthy, more of that is saved by the wealthy than the rest of Americans that spend it because they have to. So I think because of that, it's felt less.
It's weird. They're like sucking money out of the economy.
They are sucking out of the money. And I have a grand theory, Josh. I'm curious, as more and more wealth is concentrated at the top and just has to go somewhere, is that one reason why markets are so stubborn to go down? And look,
I think that, so I espoused the theory 11 years ago called the relentless bid. And the general idea was that financial advisors create financial plans. And the more equity risk your clients take, the higher the likelihood that your clients are going to hit their targets. And you know that because of a Monte Carlo simulation. And as we started to disincentivize stock trading by getting rid of commissions for retail brokers, so we disincentivized transactional business, and we emphasized more long-term, more ETF allocation. So advisors would build these financial models for their clients, and when the market's down 5%, it's like, oh my God, if I rebalance now, buy my clients more stocks, look how much better the plan looks.
Yeah.
It's like pulling the lever.
I see.
We do it faster and faster now because we all know what our clients really need, given the longevity of rich people. When you hear the actuarial tables, you're going to live till 72. Yeah, probably not if you're a client of Morgan Stanley. If you're a client of Morgan Stanley, you live to 100.
Yeah.
So
Can you hear me? That, I know I'm making a lot of noise, but if you're a client, if you are invested, if you look at, I'm gonna go to the most extreme, the royal family, when Queen Elizabeth's living to 100, you're like, God dog. When you see, her mom lived to 101, it's literally the quality of food and life, and they aren't highly stressed. When I see older Black families, and it always makes me devastatedly sad, like their mom and dad are stressed out about the bills and stressed out about the kids, and they working and they stressed and racism. And I'm like, your parents are going to kick the bucket out of here because of stress. When you start trying to tell these people stop eating everything fried fish Fridays, fried fish pork chop sandwiches, they get mad with you. But it's like, you have to realize it's the investing assets long term. That's why if you look at the ages of these people that are invested, they live to be 80, 90. They live like Warren Buffett. They live like Charlie Munger. They're living these very long lives. That's why when they talk about this wealth transfer, if somebody's a billionaire at 69, they might live 20 more years. What are you talking about? Let's just say they make 30 million. I'm telling y'all, I'm experiencing this in my own family. We have a family member that's 80. We have a family that's 55. The family members that have already retired, they're so bored, they're starting new businesses and new projects because they're bored out of their mind. And no one tells you that you might live another 30 years after you retire. It's crazy. No one tells you this. Again, Ant Dog, correct. There are homes in Houston that are this price. You live this way. Let me tell you a little trick. You move into the house. You take all these pictures of the house when you first move into it. Keep those pictures. Take a picture of everything in the house. Take a picture of the kitchen. Take multiple pictures, like if you were going to list it for sale. Take all these pictures. And then after you live in that house for 2 years, if you have made more money, you're feeling good, you want to move up to the next size house, put those same pictures you took online and want to rent the house out. And I've seen people do this all the time. And by the time they get a contract locked in for they're moving to the next house. They're moving to the next house. And now they have a rental and they have the new house. And they got equity. Knock it off. Some people I have to sell. If you have to sell to go to the next house, then you really didn't improve yourself in the 2-year period, which you should. You should. There should be some kind of financial improvement in a 2 to 3 year window once you've locked in housing. Once I've seen people's mortgages are the same price as some of these apartments, I'm like, oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. So, they don't suck money out of the economy. They put money into the economy. The trickle down thing is real. People hate hearing that. Trickle down is real because if you actually watch this whole thing, again, private office, family offices, it's a whole thing. But let me get out of here. I'm American citizen in Trinidad, broke as hell. She comes back every year to work for 6 months. But that's her life. That's eventually she'll get old. Eventually she'll get to an age where she's 50, 60, coming back to America to work for 6 months. That's a lot of people. They'll eventually come back, work for 6 months, and be so tired they can't keep going back and forth. There's a Black lady, her video is going viral. She lived overseas for 15 years. She came to America. Why? She's older. Ran out of money. And she still got a house. So she can go right back to her house that she owns and take some equity out of it. Congratulations. You still can travel though, if you want to go. A woman reached out about service. I said it's super pricey, $170. That's not a lot of money. I saw the stress on her face saying that small number. I've had cousins where I told them about supplements and different vitamins and different things for $40, and they're like, $40? I'm like, good luck. Good luck. You're gonna have rough knees. We lost multiple family homes in my family due to ignorance. It took me older to realize it. Damn. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. Turn around, run it right back out. Soft life is not just a trend. It's investing in your health and becoming tech savvy. So many gadgets, all kind of stuff. All kind of stuff. Let me see. Do I have my last segment and I'm done? Okay, yeah, that's it.
You need more stock.
Yeah.
The only answer to every question is more stock.
More stock. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For people who are already wealthy and they already have.
Well,
that
and I also
lifestyle.
think it's important.
Oh, wait,
go back to
the
inequality.
source.
In your book,
Hold
you
on.
talked about the way to fight back on AI is to invest in AI companies.
No choice.
I've had the idea of the new pitchfork is the brokerage account. Put down your pitchfork and open a stock account and buy stocks.
Robinhood blew up.
Because the way you're not going to hedge your life entirely, no matter what occupation. But unless you're wealthy, the best way to not ever get on that boat, or at least to try to, balance some of it, is to buy stocks.
I think that message is hitting because Robinhood's latest quarter,
young people get that.
The account funded blew up. They're getting a lot more people as
their
customers.
earnings were just
You know
bananas.
that folk story about John Henry? So he takes on a steam shovel, and at the time, steam powered equipment was like the bête noire of the working class, and it was
Yes, but if you listen to the whole thing in context, they're putting money into the economy. They're also the people that are investing. So it's like the same people that are making money are investing the money. You know what I'm saying? So someone saw my earrings ready for he's so true. I already know what that's about. I'm gonna play this last segment about family offices and we're done. Because this is a topic I want you to hear his story too. Go back and watch the show for his story in the 20-minute segment, because it's so powerful. Just choosing to pivot. When you do pivot well, and you can live a great life. He's lived the last 30 years interviewing rich people and hanging out with rich people because of a pivot, right? Oh, before I show that, let me show you this. This kind of thing that if I'm a divorced person or if I'm a man, I'll be forever poor. This is a very false doctrine that y'all got to stop preaching. This is David Sharp. Okay. This is David Sharp. Okay. If you go down here, he's over legendary marketer. I want you to see this. He's multimillionaire now. Last Valentine's Day, I was a newly divorced man. That was my new relationship identity, and I felt like a failure. I was depressed, my heart cold and hard. I was never going to open it up to anyone again. I planned to just work, take care of my kids, and settle for situationships so I could get my needs met. Then you showed up. You worked in sales for me, but during the downsizing of our company, you were let go in 2024. Despite the excruciating disappointment, you exited with amazing grace and gratitude. You didn't only send me a professional thank you to me, essentially after parent. You sent a supportive, appreciative, thoughtful message to our entire team and the amazing friends you made while here, just like you make everywhere you go. Well, 4 months later, I love how he sets this up because it's like, boy, stop lying. Y'all was cheating for this. But anyway, 4 months later, I realized you lived close to me and I slid into the DMs. We went on our first meetup that lasted 6 hours. And although I was afraid to show my interest in you too much, I cracked my cold heart and it made my day. The rest is history. 2024 is the hardest year of my life. Divorce, being a newly single dad, big business challenges that come with the territory, 2 devastating hurricanes that wreak havoc on my home. None of that mattered to you. Only my well-being, heart, and headspace. I'm sorry. What started off as the worst year of life ended as the best with your support. I turned my struggles into strength. Happy Valentine's Day, my girl. I love you. Now, again, I want y'all to understand. If you are a rich person and you are out at mixing and mingling and you are doing life and you are talking to people and you're in associations. This is 2 kids from his marriage. He just ended, freshly divorced. If you hear his story, he's got a great story. He was acting up. He was on drugs, right? And his dad was like, hey, man, you're a bum. Get your life together right now. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get it together. So then he came at 25. He started doing construction. And guess what he learned while he was doing construction? Damn, this is busting my back. What's something else I can do? Affiliate marketing. Many years later down the road, he created Legendary Marketer. To this day, I share with y'all the links, the challenge, 5-day challenge, and all this other stuff. And sometimes y'all listen, sometimes y'all don't. But there are several people who made over $5 million last year, and there was a company restructure. And all these affiliates made like $5 million, $2 million, $3 million, and they went on and did their own thing. Okay? But a lot of people don't listen. So long the story short, if you're wealthy, you're in these streets, you go into conferences, you mixing and mingling. Yeah, your wife may fire you, let you go tomorrow. You got to sell some things. You got to give her some money. Guess what? You're going to go right back out there. That's why when I see these people out here talking about, oh, these women's, I'm like, man, you ain't got no money to begin with. You ain't got no assets. Because people going to keep doing what's comfortable for them. He live off the water in Tampa. He going to keep on living off the water in St. Pete and Tampa. And he going to keep on chilling. I don't think y'all understand. People in Florida be chilling. Women are likely to be poor after divorce. Yeah, they be lying. She took all my money. They be like, what? Sometimes the best thing to do the last 4 years has been stagnant is to move to another state. Get a skill before you move and start new. I'm telling you, my life is almost amazing since I moved to Texas. Congratulations. I'm a landlord in a small way. Buy more real estate. Buy 50 doors. For sure. For sure. Enjoy. Can't stop, won't stop. Women. Listen. Do you see what I'm saying? This is why when people be telling me these stories of these wealthy people getting a top, they not. If you out here and you a nice person or decent person, you want to go meet somebody, they everywhere. People are everywhere. I'm gonna get out of there. I'm gonna get out of there because y'all gonna be like, Erica, I can't believe you. This is the other one I want to show y'all about the price of homes and home ownership and I'm gonna play that last family office and I'm gonna get out of here. I promise. I'm not gonna. I know y'all like, damn, Erica, we all day. Nah, we're not doing all day. We getting out of here. I got somewhere I gotta go. I've actually got to get down to somewhere 45 minutes away. And they're gonna be mad at me because I'm gonna be late. Okay, so this is Washington, D.C. or whatever, right? And then on this part right here, is it Chicago or is it Washington? I think it's Washington. Del Mar, home values 310, income 47,000, 67% have a bachelor's degree, 70% white. You go over this little Del Mar Boulevard that cuts the line. All of a sudden, 99% African American, home value almost $200,000 less. Income 22,000. You have to understand, if you really want to dig deep into the conversation of hardworking Americans and assets, right? FHA loans, Social Security Act, the Wager Act, all this stuff, these unions, a lot of times unions didn't have black people in them. Unions were white only, right? So when y'all be out here hopping on the union train and Erica, don't you think about unions? I don't think S about unions. If you really know how unions were treating black people, you get off that damn train. Unions are now turning to black people in the last dying breath of unions so that, okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And the last dying breath of unions so that they can stay alive. But unions, they kept black people out for a long time. They did not. They made sure you stayed out. They made sure other white men had secure jobs. You did not. So corporate subsidies, $92 billion a year spent on corporate subsidies, mostly what? White-led industries. Okay, farm subsidies. White farmers paying 97% of federal aid. My grandma and my farm family could not get a loan. Years of proving this stuff. Okay, lucky we kept stuff. Okay, Medicaid, Social Security. It was a program once that lied to black workers. There are black men to this day that I know that don't have a lot of track record. They worked under the table or they got paid cash all the time. They're not gonna get Social Security. They're gonna get $600 check. So when somebody says I work hard, I don't need government money, your grandfather's house was FHA loan. Your dad's college was GI Bill. Your family business was failure back loans. That's why when I teach the funding bundle and I'm going all this stuff, I really want you to understand they about to change up that credit this summer. They about to change it up. That's why I pivoted hard. Yeah, sorry, I had to check the city. Okay. I don't think y'all understand. I don't think y'all understand. You know, I just don't think the pivot is real. I'm getting up. I see what's coming. I know it's coming. That's why I made it very clear. Like, get a lot of the line of credit you need and move where you got to move. Because that $2 to $3 grand that you spend a month with these influencers, these young people, these people working in your company is going to turn your business and get your business another 10 to 30K a month. And then you're living another different life. If you really want to go crazy, like the e-commerce stuff I'm talking to you guys about, digital products and stuff, you spending 10 to 30K a month, you're talking about people who make 30 to 100K a month every month. And it's just all running advertising and different things and then you just have the spillover effect where you just start spilling over the money into real estate, spilling over into investments. It's happening. People not ready. But that's why when black people get on me in my comments about unions, I'll be like, you're uneducated. You don't even know that unions don't play with you. They don't like you. They didn't never like you. If you don't get out of here, sounding silly, the unions. Yes, they got a story coming out that's about the black people in Canada that created a union, the porters. Guess what they did to the porters? Once the porters created that union, they got rid of black men porters. It was the best job a black man could have. They could have families, houses, homes. And when they got that union, they got you out of here. They got you out of here. Y'all don't let the union talk. Really read, educate yourself. You sound silly when you talk about these unions. Erica, what about the unions? I'm like, the unions is dead. When people start reaching for black people, something's on the last leg. That whole wholesaling movement, 2018 to 2022, wholesaling your grandma's house or black communities only or poor areas, it's embarrassing. They come reach for us when they want to make some money.
For a growing family. I think what happened, what I'm told from family office. Now, I wrote my first family office article was in 2005, and it was about how family offices, to your point, had become a status symbol. It was like, I got a family office. And the investment part of it was sort of secondary to the fact that you had this private company that handled all your shit, like whether it was the private jet fleet or the kids' school or like whatever. Right. What I think happened was after the financial crisis, a lot of wealthy people were like, I just got hosed by my private bank. My advisor really didn't have my back. Whether it's Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, like they really screwed me. I need my own person that actually understands this stuff. I was at a meeting
that only works for me.
That truly represents my interests.
But don't you see how good or how bad that could be?
For who?
For the buyer.
For the family office. For the family.
If you have your own quarterback, why is that bad?
I know a lot about this world.
So tell me.
Okay.
Tell the audience.
I know a lot about this world. There are incredible family offices, like where they recruit top-notch talent, people coming out of Goldman and great banks that are doing such high-end work that the client says, how much do I have to pay you for you to not deal with anyone else? Just come work for me.
Yeah.
That's the dream scenario. And that exists.
Yep.
And there are really impressive people in the family office world. That's like for billionaire families. Then there's this sort of like next layer, where it's a family office and they're like almost duplicating an investment bank.
Right.
It's like, oh, we have somebody here that does M&A. Why?
Right.
We have someone here that does stock picking, CFA,
right?
Who's like meeting with companies and listening to conference calls.
So we have
a venture person. We have this. We have that. So I met the family office people, and they're very serious, and I'm sure they do a great job. They work
the family office people.
They work for I'm talking about a specific group. This is hilarious to me. They work for one of the biggest retailer families, but it's like the fourth generation,
right?
And they no longer own this storied like department store chain.
And it's not Walmart.
No. Not quite.
Yeah.
That's billionaire.
Yeah.
So they have this whole office set up, and they're like explaining how they're different from an RIA. And I'm listening, and I'm like, all right, I sort of understand it. So you guys aren't like a fee like an AUM fee like we are. He's like, no. What we do is we come up with the budget of what it's going to cost us to run this family office each December for the next year.
Yeah.
And we calculate the salaries of the people and the equipment and the travel and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so what does that work out to? He's like, that's like 1%.
Right.
But so my point is, I think the faster growth.
Okay. If you didn't get it, it's okay. Go back and watch this video on your own. What I want to tell you about family offices is if you're so good at making money, you need people underneath you that their whole job is like, how can we hold this person up? Now, what we forget in our American society, especially in Victorian area, families just have 5, 6, 7 kids. And there was always a Spencer or a brother that never got married. He was a certified bachelor. And that the families were strong because you always had this extra person helping hold the house up. If you watch Downtown Abbey, Bridgerton, any of these things, but Downtown Abbey's more closer to it. You had multiple generations living in one house. You had multiple people taking care of making sure the family kept its name, kept its money. You had people worked for the family. They worked for the family their whole life. We have a guy, he recently passed, and we also have another person. They worked for our families for over 10, 15 years, just doing lawn care, doing things, maintenance, handyman stuff. Like, we just know we can always call that person. There's a plumbing guy we've had worked for our family for 20 years. Now, he works for a bunch of other families, but in general, hey, go over by this house. Oh yeah, no problem. Like, that's a whole lifestyle. Okay. So So if you make a family office and there's 3 or 4 people and they're getting paid $150,000 a year, and they know they could never go somewhere else and make that same type of money, they're very focused. I tried to go work for a family office because I want to learn the business. It's competitive. You're gonna have some skill. You got to be financial analyst. You got to be certain things to get into their ecosphere to be nosy. Like you ain't just gonna slide in there. You gotta you gotta show them you know what you're talking about, right? And I want y'all to understand, like, there's benefits to somebody working for you, but it's hard to get rid of them because they know everything. They know your family secrets. They know what your family do. They know all the stuff. You can go look at Succession. You can go look at all the stuff. And so it's hard to get rid of those folks. So people like working for family offices, a different type, where they're working for 10 different family offices. And if you don't like them, you can let them go. But really the family office is that buffer where you got some crazy kid or a crazy wife who wants to spend a lot of money. Oh, well, let's talk to the family office and see if we can afford to do it. And so they become that triangle therapist buffer person that's like, oh, we can't spend that. Oh, you can't buy a $5 million house in the middle of somewhere. No, you can't do that. Because really those family offices start when somebody gets about $10 million. So 10 million is not enough for you to go crazy and do the most. It's just enough for you to keep investing it. And when you get about 30 million, now you're a whole different kind of economy. You're in a kind of different life. You're in a different Richistan. You're in a whole different thing. So prime example, tech companies, when they couldn't get them Indian people in, they're like, let's get some of them black people. Let's get some of them Africans. Let's get them in here. Right. But if you have the skill, you have the skill. You get your foot in the door, you get your foot in the door. Right. So each generation was promised a dream. It's just as important, though, to change your anger into purpose. Easier said than done. So for sure. That's that 5-day challenge I was telling you about. That's the guy who's very rich with the affiliate marketing. It's just different ways to train and learn. So it's your girl, Erica, Classic on Blog. Thank you for your time. Today was a long show. I understand if you fell off or you come back and watch it some later. I might take a couple of days off. Oh, wait, I'm lying. Tomorrow is the show I have with Asia, and then I'm going to take probably a couple of days off. So thank you guys for your time. Thank you for supporting the channel. You've been awesome. Thank you.
This is David W. Williams, and I'm giving a testimony to Erica Williams and her team. Because of the advertising relationship that we were able to develop, my company had the best month in the month of November for the whole year of 2024. And I'm talking about our sales were 3 or 4 times any other month during that particular year. And I know it's because of the relationship that I had with Erica and how she worked with me as an advertising partner. So now here's the benefit of working with her and her team. She's going to communicate to you what you're going to get as a result of working with her. She's going to over deliver on her value that she's providing, right? And she's not going to do a one-off deal. She's going to really invest in your success because she's really invested in making sure that you're going to get a success story from working with her as an advertising partner. So if you're looking to drive more sales, you're looking to bring in more leads, and you're also looking to get more exposure to what you're doing, you want to reach out to Erica and ask her, can I advertise with you?